Brilliant. All right.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Good to go.
Brilliant.
Not gonna freaking melt in this room now.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. Australian summer in a metal shed. It's a great place to be.
Don't reveal our secrets,
Yeah.
dude. This is the studio.
Yeah.
right?
Sorry. Yeah. The metal studio.
Yeah. What up? Oh, we got some people tuning in already. What's up, dudes?
How you going, guys?
This is on Twitch. What up?
Yeah. Easy. I think we have to
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, my head's fucked. I drank last night, and my head is killing me, dude. So
Louis is absolutely shriveled right now.
Dude, that's like people don't even think he's like shriveled. Louis is shriveled.
Yeah.
That just sounds suspect.
It is.
That's suspect as fuck.
And true and accurate.
Yeah, he's not fully talked right now.
Yeah, he's not ready to go whatsoever.
Yeah, fuck. What up, everybody?
Yeah, what up, guys?
Yeah, I'm trying to make this feel more like just a chat because you know sometimes it feels a bit too like clinical the way we're talking and shit. I just need it to be like casual, so that way it's just like.
So you usually be absolutely melted on drinks the night before, and then you rock up. That's how we do it,
dude. Just talk. I just want to talk. Like, fuck.
Alright, brilliant. Well, I think probably the first thing we need to touch on is the title of this one because I think
she elaborating.
She elaborating as well. I just told Louis about that today, so it's basically explain it. So it's basically, you know, the term mansplaining, which is like, the condescension that women feel when men explain something to them.
Yeah.
There's she elaborating, which is when a woman tells you a story and just goes on like a million tangents and never gets to the point.
Fucking she elaborating, dude. That's so funny. I thought that was actually gold when you told me that. I was like, my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's felt that before as well. You get a story from a woman, you're like, just get to the point. I can see the point. It's right there.
Yeah, just tell me the main shit.
No, you have to know how the person was feeling at the time that they did the thing.
It is funny though. It's like male and female explain things hell different. Like they need to expand so you get the full array of like the emotions that happened and like things that happened to get to this point where we're like, dude, this is how you do this and this is what that was, and like we get real deep onto the nitty gritty of things. Like, I don't know.
I think, let's say this way, men are detail oriented, women are emotion oriented, right? So when they tell your story, it's not enough for you to know who said what, when, where. It has to be, this is how I think they were feeling when they said it.
Right.
This is how I think she felt when she heard her say it. And you're like, what does any of that have to do with the event that happened?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Do you know, after I renamed these, I think it doesn't link with my thing now. Hold on
Oh, jeez.
1 sec. Does it work? Fucking hell.
Yeah. It's the best example of over-engineering I've ever seen.
Literally, I literally just scuffed it. My goodness.
It's right. You just have to rename.
No.
Will you rename that back? I can tell you about that story I was actually going to tell you about on this one.
Yeah.
As well.
There you go. Oh, okay. It's going to do that.
Sweet. Easy.
Just 2 seconds. I'm just going to rename it now. I
worries.
think just quickly renaming it actually fixed it.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully I've learnt my lesson there.
Yeah. We're just trying to engineer solutions here.
Yeah, I'm literally making problems and then fixing them. Yeah, there we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, go on, speak to me.
Brilliant. All right, well, I was about to tell you about the that NASA mission that's been coming recently.
Yeah.
So you can probably even put like we don't have to react to anything like that, but anyone listening to us here, like you can look into yourself. It's called Clipper. One of the coolest things that I've heard of for a while. I knew about this moon of Jupiter for a while. And it's basically meant to be one of like 2, I think, moons. There's Europa on one of Saturn's moons. That's also a really good candidate.
Right.
But this moon on Jupiter, basically, it orbits Jupiter, but it's quite far away from the sun. So it's nowhere near what we think a habitable zone is. It's not getting enough heat from the sun to have liquid water. It's meant to be impossible, basically. But what they found is that what this moon is doing, as it's orbiting Jupiter on it's not on like a circular orbit. It's on I think it's elliptical orbit. It's on a weird orbit. It's on an angled orbit. So at some point it's coming closer to Jupiter, then it's going further away. And as it does that, it's being like squeezed and compressed by the gravity of Jupiter, and that is generating this friction inside it that actually gives it a heat source, like a core that's actually warm, like a magma core, like basically what Earth has as well. So what they think this moon is doing is it has like the hot core in the middle, then it has liquid water, and then an ice crust around the outside. 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers of ice, but then liquid water underneath it. And because Jupiter is like compressing the thing so much, there's all this energy that's in the moon, and it's getting all this radiation from Jupiter as well, which they think as the radiation hits the ice, it's sending all these complex molecules into the water. So that's like the perfect breeding ground for life. Better than what we had here. We had like geothermal vents at the base of the ocean that were giving, rise to complex molecules. And that's how they think life formed on Earth. This thing has everything we have, if not more. And it's got more stability than we have here as well, because that water's been like undisturbed for ages. So imagine it, you got like more water than Earth has underneath this ice crust on this moon. And then every type of temperature gradient you can imagine for the water, from freezing to boiling. So whatever you think the perfect conditions for life are, this moon has it. And it's had it in a stable form for billions of years. How sick is that?
So
There could be anything, man.
So what you're telling me is that there might be life. Might be.
I'd
I
say
mean, there's
like
probably life somewhere.
there's
but-
probably almost certainly life somewhere. We don't know how. Let's put it this way, right? If there is life on this moon, there is life everywhere. Every single way you can think of that there could be, it would be. Because what are the odds that two places in our own solar system evolved life separately? Like, it must just be so common. So this would be really cool. And what they're doing right now is like what they found on this using the Hubble telescope. They found that this moon, because there's all this pressure building underneath the ice, every so often the ice will crack and the geyser will spat out water and it'll shoot out hundreds of meters from the moon vertically out into outer space. So what they're doing with this probe, it's gonna like dip in to go around this moon and try and catch liquid that's coming out of one of these geysers.
Mm.
And it's gonna then be able to analyze what the molecules are and if it's life or not.
So
We will know within a few years if there's bacterial life in this water.
So they've sent this thing already, and it has the ability to check to the molecules.
Yeah, the engineering of
Interesting.
this thing is absolutely crazy. The way I watched a video on it last night, way over my head. But like the proper engineering that's gone into this, it's so fucking wild to me, man. Like us humans are such insanely genius like apes, man. It's crazy what we do with science and
Yeah.
technology. It's insane. So this thing can basically like dip in, collect this water, and then like for like ionizing it can find out what exact chemical compounds are in that water. So it can split CO2, hydrogen, and it can find basically life, or at least all the ingredients for life. We'd be able to tell basically pretty shortly if there's life in our solar system elsewhere besides Earth. I think that's absolutely sick.
That is pretty cool. I think that is cool. I don't know if I care that much though anymore. I'm sort of like, if we find like molecule life, I'm like, all right.
Well, that's the thing, right? What this probe can find out is if there's life in there. It won't tell you if it's only single cellular or not. We can't tell that.
Yeah.
But let's imagine you have a stable environment underneath this ice and you've had it for billions of years. There could be anything in there. There could be any kind of life form in that water. Think about how wild our oceans have been over the last hundreds of millions of years, all the different type of species that have existed, from megalodons to like freaking crabs to octopus, all these things you can think of could be that this own moon's version of these life forms in that water.
It would be cool to know if there was like, I don't know, like creatures like on a different planet. Do you think they would like take a humanistic like looking form, or do you think they would just be some random fucking shit?
I think life evolves to fill a niche. So all of our physiological structures, that's why every animal that you see, if you know what habitat it comes from, you can almost see how it's evolved to take over that habitat. That's niche filling, basically. That's how we evolve. So whatever the niche is for here, I don't think they'll have eyes that can see because it would be pitch black in there. I can't imagine it being a light source. But I have no idea. I think the scariest thing is I don't think there's any limits on how big life could get in that water source because it's just got so much water. It's way more water than Earth has. There's no
Is this
land
moon
mass.
bigger than ours?
It's
Our
roughly
Earth?
the size of our moon, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's roughly the size of our moon. But it's all water. There's no landmass, and it's deeper water the whole way through. So there's more liquid water on this moon, I think, than Earth.
Yeah, but don't they say that if things get too big and there's not enough things for that big thing to eat, they sort of just don't get that big anymore?
There's like a limit to how big something can get. And yeah, that is true. That's why like the top predator has to have like imbalance with the rest of nature. But I have no idea how big things could be here. They could be as big as megalodons and other things. Have you seen the prehistoric age and how big they think something's got? You can put up right now like how big prehistoric sharks were compared to our current sharks. It is insane.
I've seen that, but like they were that big, so then they must have had something big enough to feed on, right?
Yeah.
At the time. So then I assume that the things that they were eating, there was just none of it anymore, right?
Well, the idea is that we had a calamity. We had a meteoric strike here, and I think that depleted like the oxygen in the water and stuff like that. There's all these sort of things that I think happened. There was mass extinction events. All our megafauna died roughly 10 to 20,000 years ago, just about. and they think it was the Younger Dryas impact. I don't know if you've heard Graham Hancock
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
I
it.
hear about it all the time.
Yeah, because it's about the deoxygenation of the waters and the rest of that, and that killed all the bigger things, and that's why we have like pushy tiny little sharks now instead of like the big ones we used to have. Like you add more oxygen, more carbon to the water, things get bigger, and yeah, I mean you could bring that back out again with enough time and the right conditions. And I have just no idea what conditions there might be underneath this ice.
Do you think that the world would just be fucked if megalodons were still around?
Oh,
Like
dude,
it'd
it'll
just be
be
wild,
wild.
right?
What if dinosaurs were still around, man?
Yeah.
How crazy would that be? Like, what, you want to go for a hike? Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
running into like velociraptors or some shit on a hike. That would just be absolutely heinous.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about the old stories, like, about dragons and stuff like that. The idea is that maybe there was something that we haven't found the remains of yet. We think that these dinosaur remains. What if dragons were around? What if they say dinosaurs were still around, and you had some that like particularly like the taste of human meat? Imagine being a knight thinking it's your role, your duty to go and try and kill that dragon or that dinosaur. That'd be freaking madness. Imagine getting a few of your boys together. You're like, all right, now this T-Rex has just been terrorizing this town, man. We need to take him out. You got your fucking armor and your swords and shit. And you're like, let's take him on. You got this fucking 4-story tall freaking reptile thing that eats people.
Yeah, like do they is there
Madness.
like sort of like timeline where dragons actually came from? Like where that sort of story came from?
Man, that could be its own episode. I think there's like up until like is it 1800s in the encyclopedia there was a different definition for there was no definition for dinosaurs. I think up until 1800s, I think they were just referred to as dragons. Whenever they found like the bones and the remains, I think that they would just classify them as dragon remains. You can find it on Webster's dictionary when the word dinosaur became a thing. I don't think it was too long ago. I think it's like the 1800s or something like
Shall I have
that.
a look?
Yeah, have a look at that. I've seen someone do a video on this. But the crazy thing about this moon for me as well is like imagine for a second that like intelligent life evolves here. It's some sort of mermaid-esque creature. What would it think the universe is? It would have this body of water that it exists in, and then it would hit like imagine the way we see the ground underneath our feet. That is how this intelligent creature would see the sky above it. It would just be a permanent wall. It would think that the universe was only the body of water that it was in. How could it ever get through a kilometer more of ice above it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine thinking that like, the whole universe is like just your one water body that you're in. That'd be crazy. Imagine finding out. What if we somehow managed to contact it? And it's like, what the fuck do you mean there's something above the sky? The sky is solid, it's ice. And we find a way to communicate to this life form that there's a whole fucking universe just outside of their ice cap.
The thing is, though, is
Crazy.
that like if there was something that big underneath there, why couldn't it break the ice? Like
It's over a kilometer, man.
a kilometer.
And remember, the conditions are so cold on the outside of this planet because there's no sunlight. It's just so hard frozen ice.
So they would even if you smacked up against it, you don't.
Because you got the ice around the outside and then you get being squeezed and compressed, that's generating the heat, and the water will sometimes just explode out for like a little crack, and the crack immediately seizes up over again.
Yeah, right.
So there's no way. We have to somehow get electricity in its own weird water version of electricity, a massive fucking drill, and then we'll have to drill through its ice. It'll be crazy.
It would be pretty nuts.
It would be so nuts, man. But we could drill down. We could probably drill down if there's a way to do it, and then find a way to communicate to these things. That would just be the craziest thing for me if we could do that.
I don't think that if there's something there, like if it is a fish-like creature, there's, probably it's debatable where anything would even be sentient like that. Like consciousness is just a weird thing.
Consciousness is very weird. Consciousness is incredibly weird when you think that every living creature that reaches some level of complexity has some form of consciousness. Like you can see if you have cats or dogs as pets, like it's something to exist as them. You know that they're aware in some way of what existence is. Like there's some level of consciousness there. Consciousness just seems to scale with complexity. So if you leave an ecosystem with enough time to build up enough complexity, I think there's probably more argument to say it would have a level of consciousness to it. Like first principles consciousness is just like observe your world, interact with it, survive. That's like primitive forms of consciousness, and we still have that. That's what your fight or flight response is. That's what pattern recognition is. What we humans have is like this, which I've always thought is one of the weirdest things in the world. We have this jump in conscious evolution that stops inciting us to reproduce or even stay alive. We start committing suicide through the torture of our consciousness. It's so hard to think that it's an evolutionary response that we've gotten so conscious that we've stopped reproducing, we start killing ourselves. Explain to me how that's evolutionary. We don't reproduce anymore. That's like evolution failed.
Do you know what's
It's so
interesting
weird.
that you say that though? Is that there was some works that got done at the zoo recently, and they have to be so careful when they do the works and when they do the drilling because the people doing the works, the construction works, the vibrations and the sounds are so unsettling, and it messes with the animals so badly that they commit suicide.
Jesus, it stresses them out so much.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that is wild.
So it does happen.
Yeah.
Like I never thought that animals would commit suicide for
Yeah.
something like that. But if you put those vibrations in the ground when you're drilling or doing groundworks, the elephants apparently can like sense that from like 18
And it
kilometers
just
away.
causes them so much grief.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing as well. That like, how are our bodies being fucked with in ways that we can't tell? And is that why we have started doing it? Maybe we're just living so far away from nature that we're like poisoning ourselves. And I think that's probably some element of that happening.
Maybe. I actually really like the idea of like ancient Rome and like living like the ancient Romans. Like obviously there's stuff that's just fucked about that, but it feels like a more traditional human existence to some extent. Obviously, it's like completely outside of the realms of what humans evolved from, but I like that old school people had to talk to each other and communicate in person, and you sort of walked around the town and stuff, and I don't know, it was just a different vibe.
I actually saw a crazy I don't know if you've ever seen them before, but those videos that show you how something changes over time, I just love watching those. There was one that shows like how couples meet each other, and it starts from like the 1940s.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Yeah,
and it used to be like 20% friends, 10% work, all these things, and now it's like from 2002 onwards, it's like 75% met online. And you're like, there's something wrong about that. I think there's something not quite right about it. It's not real. It's digitized. It's a hologram. It's this projection of human interaction. It's the way you just said it. Like you long for the days of Rome where it was like you met in big colosseums, you had conversations. Like how do you replace that with just a message board? How do you really replace that with a chat? As much as like we love people interacting with our chat, like you can't really replace what it's like coming into like an auditorium and seeing people really have the conversation.
it is different. There's this loss of like theater when people chat and stuff as well. Like I feel from what my understanding of ancient Rome, there was a big thing about going to places and public speaking was such an art form and such a skill.
Yeah.
Where now it's not really that big of a skill. You sort of need to be able to speak. Say if you're doing online stuff, this is kind of like the public speaking that you would do because people all across the world can watch you, but it's not the same as standing in front of the crowd and speaking to people. That's such
Guarantee
a unique...
you it's not, because like we do this like all the time, and like, it took me a while to get comfortable with the podcast and this sort of format of speaking. But when I had to do the actual presentation like a few months ago, man, there was something so terrifying and so paralyzing about that. And I knew what I was talking about. I even knew the people I was talking to. It was like 200 people in that room, and I just like almost blacked out. I can't remember what the experience was like. My brain went somewhere else. People are like, oh, you did a good job. I'm like, I don't remember saying a single word. I can't even like bring up the memory of it, bro. Like that's how much I just blanked.
Is this for that AI stuff
Yeah.
that you did? Do you want to tell the chat what you actually did?
Yeah, well, I was looking into, and it's actually gotten worse than when I did it as well. But basically, my whole concept was that I was worried that we're reaching a tipping point, like a mass recession, which is just 10% of labor replacement with AI. Doesn't have to be much more than that. 10%, you're in a great recession, basically. So I talked about how self-driving vehicles were going to take away taxi drivers, Uber drivers, truck drivers will lose their jobs, and how even like media content creators could lose their jobs. And that's actually a great pivot. I wanted to ask you if you heard about this. Apparently in Japan, like the original voice actors for Dragon Ball Z, for Goku and the rest, apparently they've been getting really fed up with Western media's insertion of woke ideology. Because what happens is when they need Western media to audio dub and voice dub, they keep changing the actual written like scripts and stuff like that and adding Western woke ideology into it. And they're being really fed up with it. And apparently they've turned to AI now, and they're going to use AI to completely do the voices of like Goku and all those other people. I think you said Goku's voice actors passed away, I think. Is he
No.
the original?
So no. Goku's voice actor is a female.
Female?
In Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't passed away, I don't think.
So if you want to put
Akira Toriyama who made Dragon Ball.
Put this up here and just put Dragon Ball Z voice actor for AI. Just put it on the Google, just for yourself as well, just so like.
Okay, 2 seconds. One sec, you want me to put the React cam on? Is that what you want?
Even just for just a tool for us, just to make sure I'm like discussing this correctly.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
so what do you want me to search?
Just Dragon Ball Z AI voice actor. Because apparently they've just signed a deal recently, which is going to be like to allow them to use her voice then that she did for it
Right.
to do the actual AI. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z's most famous voice gets English AI transformation. So the actual like incentive behind them doing this is that they weren't appreciating Western cultures like changing of the messaging, changing of the script during the voice translation.
Right.
So you're gonna get AI to do it instead.
Yeah. Well, they've always sort of changed scripts ever since, like even shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, which is like a really old school anime that's manga and an anime, and it's just a fantastic show. Some of the things they did translate the way that it comes across because it doesn't sound right all the time, like the way that things are said, but that's just more of like the way that they would say something, and it also adds to the person's character a little bit as well. So that translation of sometimes like the way things are said is necessary, but putting woke ideology into it, that's where
Yeah.
it starts to branch away from just a translation thing to make it
Yeah.
fit Western audience a bit better.
I don't know if you're aware of like the debacle of Assassin's Creed that's really pissed off Japanese media, where Ubisoft came in and put the Black Samurai as the face of
Oh
the
yeah.
So that's actually leading to a lot of this. There's like a really big rift between like Hollywood and Western media and Japanese media because they took that as such an insult. Do you see that they even put like images on there about like freaking the bent tower, which is meant to be a symbol of the Hiroshima bomb. So they're using that in the plushie toys for the promotions and shit like that. Without
Really?
asking, yeah, the complete most insensitive. Like Ubisoft absolutely just tanked their reputation with Japanese audiences.
Dude, that's crazy.
But the reason I want to talk about the AI thing is like one thing I was reading about. Imagine we're really close to this. This is not within 5. I think this is within 5 years, 10 years tops. You could go and put a prompt in and say, write me or let me watch a Dragon Ball Z episode where this, and this happens, but surprise me with the ending. Put that into an AI, and within seconds, you can be watching a Dragon Ball Z episode that's never been written before, no one ever seen before except for you. It's got all the voice actors, you can't even tell the difference. It's got the animated style, all of it. We're within 5 years of that happening.
I think we might be even less than 5 years. It's probably already doable
Yeah.
now, actually.
But
It's
to get to that
crazy.
quality where you can't even tell,
Man,
that's what's happening.
dude, have you seen some of those edits where people take like Legend of Zelda or something, and they ask the AI to recreate it in like an 80s format? I've sent you a
Yeah.
couple of those, right?
Dude,
How insane are they?
disturbing.
They're crazy good as
Mhm.
well, and that looks legit.
Yeah.
All you need is for the AI to expand out on that, and 5 years might be too long. I think it might be less.
I think so as well. I say within 5 just to be like, I think it's definitely happening.
Definitely
within
in 5 for sure.
Probable within 2.
Within
say
2
it.
years, I think that you'll probably
Yeah.
start seeing some content that's generated purely by AI based off of a story that AI has written.
And
for
the
sure.
worst thing is, what I'm really worried about is that we're going to start seeing it before we know that we're seeing it. We're going to start thinking it's real, and the amount of manipulation that you can do on the public is insane. One of the things we start this podcast on was with the COVID. I don't want to call it anything too hard. Let's say the COVID scam, if you will. That's the most generous way I can put it. But you could see, they're bringing bodies out of Italy and all the rest of the stuff that's happening, and it scared everyone. That was fabricated to some extent. Imagine what you can do right now for AI. Like, how much could you co-opt and psyop the public with something that looks real? You could have anything you want happening. People saying that they're going to try to like make us believe an alien invasion is happening. Have you seen the rumors about that? It's a Project Blue Book or something like that. There was some talk about using, it was drone tech, whatever it was, to like fabricate an alien invasion.
Really?
It's comes to this really strange idea. Ronald Reagan actually said it. He said it in what was it like fucking I want to say 70s, 80s. He was talking to the Russian prime minister at the time, or president at the time. And he basically said to him, "Oh, wouldn't it be really neat if we could like convince everyone that an alien invasion is happening and have that unite us, both Russians and Americans?" And the fucking Russian president was like, "What the fuck's this guy on about?" He thought he was crazy. But that idea didn't go away. The idea of like a global threat to bring global government in.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of like the story of Gears of War, but
Yeah.
they sort of get forced into it. Like the locusts, the humans have been fighting each other for like hundreds of years, and they don't get along. They're always fighting, and then the locusts, they have like Emergence Day, and it just throws everything into a spin because the locusts are just killing everyone. So it forces the humans to come together to fight the locust, and that's what unites humanity. It's a very similar
very
story,
similar,
right?
very similar concept. It's a really like it's quite common in our storytelling. Yeah, but that was actually a proper idea that the U.S. government had, was to try to get the Russians to agree that they can fake an alien invasion to get everyone to stop the Red Scare and stop the animosity between people.
I think
That was
it'd
an
be
actual
hard.
idea.
It'd be hard to get the Russians to buy into something like that.
Mm.
And I just wanted to say, on top of your topic there about using AI to scare people with like COVID, blah blah blah. Man, it's hard to say whether they didn't just already have this AI technology before that, anyways, right? Like it doesn't just essentially go from turning it on overnight to being what it is.
Correct.
Surely,
Yeah.
right?
Also, you always got to assume that the military has had this at least for 10 to 20 years. That's usually the case. They're about 10 to 20 years ahead of the tech that we have.
Hmm.
It's military concepts, military use, and then it leaks out into the public sector. So who knows what the government's been able to do for the last 20 years?
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because you say about that when we used to see those pictures coming out of China and stuff
Mhm.
where people are on the streets. Where did all that shit come from? Where did all these photos come from? What happened with that? Like, did everyone just forget about that?
With the big
Because I remember
protests and
I
riots
remember
and stuff.
seeing it and I
Yeah.
was like, "Fuck, are people actually dead on the streets here? Like, this
Yeah.
might be worse than I thought." But
Yeah.
but where did those who gathered those images? Someone had to get the images to put it in these reports. Where did
Yeah.
that come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think images, if they can make video, like rendering video within seconds using AI, photos are so easy in comparison, man.
Easy.
So easy in comparison. But the reason I was going to say that the Dragon Ball Z AI thing, the thought I had with that was, what happens when each person is watching completely individual content, when there's no conformity, there's no unification on the content we watch. Right, so you have what your tastes are, what your preferences are. You can tell the AI that generates content for you exactly what you like to watch, and done. No one else will ever see the thing that you just saw because it's completely tailor made for you. What happens to our culture after that?
Dude, you know what's crazy is what happens when you can ask AI to generate you the type of porn that you want to see.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want.
Yeah.
What happens to OnlyFans content creators? What happens to the porn industry?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's
Gone.
well, it not gone, but it evolves, right?
Yeah.
It evolves into this crazy it's going to get unhinged. People watch some unhinged shit now. Wait until you can get AI to turn whatever you want in your fucked up fantasies into reality and you can visually watch it.
And it's actually so wild as soon as we step in, and I'll remind you that I wanted us initially to call this poddy Casting from the Pod for the very reason that I saw this some two and a bit years ago. I'm like, there's only one direction this goes into. There's only one direction. It is, do you want to be plugged in or not? That is it. With Neuralink and all the rest, and the fact that we know we can generate reality now, you can be put into a scenario where you are still in base reality. You are still here, but you can imagine yourself being whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want, with whoever you want, all the time. I don't think there's many people who would choose base reality besides like the Amish. I don't know why you would. You could be anything you want. It would be as real as real.
Nah, because you think about what we were talking about there about longing for like that Roman experience.
What if you could get it?
You could get you could
Put yourself in Rome.
You could live in that Roman experience, I guess.
Yeah. It's really it's closer than it's ever been before. And I can only see it going in that direction. The problem is, it's like, do we live, will it be utopian or not? Will it actually be a good thing or not? And I don't know what the answer to that is. Like, is it better to have people fight in base reality to get the things that they want? Or if you don't want to expend as many resources and burn the planet to death, just have them think they've already got the thing that they want. Is there much of a difference between what type of reality you're interacting with? False reality or real reality? What's the difference? It's a philosophical question that most people can't even begin to grapple with. If you are convinced, if all the right neurons in your brain have been prodded to make you think that you've got everything you've ever wanted, why would that make you less happy than if you had it in real life?
I don't know. That's a good question. There's not really, because you really believe that it's happening, right?
Yeah.
But I guess well, that's working off of the principle that you're locked into that forever and you'll never know.
Mm.
It's really crazy that the Matrix, when you think about the movie itself, it almost was predicting the future. It's very strange and eerie how much it's going down that direction.
The only thing I don't like about the Matrix, and it's really unfortunate that it was like a late change that they made, that it wasn't the original concept wasn't that they used us as batteries, is that they're using our brains as like RAM, as memory, as storage to run the Matrix. That makes so much more sense because we have so many cells and neurons. Like that actually makes sense. If you've got billions of people, use them for computing power. That I wish they didn't change that. They changed that for Hollywood because they thought people wouldn't be able to follow it or understand it. It was a late change that they made. I'll make it batteries. Batteries makes no sense. You can use any other way to make energy easier than keeping those humans alive. But using the actual computing power of human brains all plugged in to run the Matrix makes way more sense. Because the processing power is insane that way.
Dude, that's actually crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that was
The original
the
idea.
original story.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's,
That's
just, it's a
actually
small change, but it annoyed me because I'm like, fuck, like, if they just kept it that, then that is so on the money, man. It's so on the money. Because we're struggling right now to make enough chips to run just the AI that we have. There's a argument you can make that it's almost impossible to ever have enough computing power to generate reality itself. But if you had 7 billion evolved brains to do it, maybe that's enough then. Because our brains are incredible processors, because we already process reality as it is. Your eyes generate information and your brain processes it into the reality that you experience. That makes sense. You could use that to generate the Matrix then, because your brain's already doing it. It's generating reality every single day through your senses, your touch, feel, all those things. Your brain processes that into, I am Louis, I'm walking around, I'm having this experience. You could use that same brain, plug it into the Matrix, and you would be in the Matrix thinking it's the same thing happening.
Yeah, what makes you think that that's not happening now? Statistically, it's probably the most likely thing.
Yeah.
Well. Most likely, this is just all fake. This is all just in our heads.
I'd say so. The only thing that makes me think it's not is that if you could render us into a Matrix where anything could happen, why would you process and render us into one where we're already suspicious it might be happening? It just seems like a flaw. Put us in a different generation. Put us into the 90s. In the 90s, it was like, that would never happen. It's so unbelievable. Like, why let your procedurally generated reality feel like it's catching up to the Matrix? That's what makes me think we're not there yet. Because I'm suspicious we're going to get there. But if you put me in a system and you didn't want me to know I was in a system, why put me in a reality where all I can see is us heading towards the system? It's almost like an unnecessary flaw, right? Put me in that 70s or 60s or 70s. No one possibly thought this would happen. It was a 1 in a million thought the Matrix was possible. Now, most people will tell you, yeah, it's going to happen. Look at what we're doing. I can see it happening a bit already. I'm already looking at my phone, thinking I'm seeing the world when I'm not. Like, we're already conditioned a bit to believe it. VR headsets and all this. You're like, okay, yeah, I can see it. That's the only thing that makes me think we might not be there yet, because I can see it happening. And I feel like if I was in the Matrix, I wouldn't be suspecting we're about to enter it. It's a flaw, it's a design flaw almost. You can make me in any generation, in any time in the world, you could put me into. Why put me into one where I'm already suspecting I'm about to be put into a Matrix?
Well, that would just be the natural progression, though.
Yeah, but you could keep recycling the same decade, right? The same generation, the same. You could recycle the 1910s ad nauseum, infinitely, if you wanted.
Yeah, but why would you do that?
Well, if you're the computer and you don't want people to become aware, put them into a scenario where they're so far away from computers being powerful that they're never suspicious in the first place.
But we are pretty far away. Like we couldn't.
I'm fucking terrified of these computers, man.
We couldn't simulate an entire world right now.
Well, one thing I love about this idea that we're in a simulation, I don't know if you know much about it, but like, you know how they think there's a edge to the observable universe?
Yeah.
I think that's a procedural generation problem. You know, in a video game, when you like enter a different area or look to a different thing, you know what's happening in the video game. Your PlayStation or your computer, it's rendering the thing that you're looking at. You play a Resident Evil game, you go through a door, it will render the next room for you as you go to step into it. So the idea is to save procedural power. None of the universe exists unless a conscious observer looks at it. Because once you look at it, then it needs to make it happen.
That's like the wave theory, right?
Like me and you say right now, outside of this room doesn't actually exist right now at all. It's not there. It's an empty nothingness until you open that door. Then it becomes. So that's the idea, right?
Unless someone else observes it.
Unless someone else observing it, right? And the best understanding we have of physics right now seems to agree with that. That, the detail specific nature of the universe only reveals itself when we look. When we stop looking, a particle could be anything. It's probabilistic. It's like a wave function. And when we look, it becomes a singularity, as if it's like procedurally generating itself into existence just for us to look at it. They point the Hubble telescope into an empty part of the night where we think there's no stars. It points there for as long as they leave it there to absorb all this light. Boom, we start seeing more galaxies. No matter where we point it, we'll see more galaxies when we look. I'm like, well,
But isn't that because it takes that much time for the light to hit
it could
it?
be, or it could be that we just decide to look. And then, seek and you shall find is like an actual biblical reference, almost like a hint of that. Maybe that's actually telling us it's not until we look that we will find that thing because it generates itself into existence. And the best example, if you've ever seen people hack into video games, that you can watch videos of it, it's really cool. They show you what the game world looks like when you're in a certain room, and like nothing else exists outside that room.
Yeah.
It's like empty voids.
Yeah, that's right.
That could be what we're in.
Yeah, well,
It's actually just as likely.
probably. I mean, I guess the thing is though is that the more humans there are, the more observations there are.
Mm.
So if there really is life all around the universe or whatever, if there is more sentient life that's observing stuff, that would be like an insurmountable amount of processing power it would take to actually generate that.
Correct. Yeah, I think unless you will only see when you look. So whoever the person
they
is
would
looking,
be looking as well, right?
and maybe they'll only see the thing that they're looking at. So you could really
Yeah.
minimize how much data you need if you're only ever showing a conscious observer the thing they're looking at.
But I'm saying, what is the scale of life then? Because they say there's an endless possibility of life everywhere. So if it really is that endless, well, then there must be a limit because then it would just be too much power.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that in, let's say, base reality, whatever the first one was, before we entered the Matrix, before we entered the simulation, you have to first agree there was at one point a base reality.
Yeah.
A reality that was real, that we somehow evolved to make the computer, or something evolved to make the computer, to make the simulation that we all end up plugging into.
Yeah.
In that reality, I think life might be everywhere and endless. And here's a great one here as well. We talked about if life is common and intelligent life is common, conscious life is common, why do we never see any other alien species? Now, some people will tell you that we do. They come here all the time. Do you know what I mean? We have the Cavine UFO over there. We talked about it in a previous episode.
Tinfoil hat.
Yeah, but there's this theory as well. The great filters, they call them? The great filter is like, is there something about conscious, intelligent evolution that limits it? Is there like a hard filter on us that we can't ever get behind? We'll never become multiplanetary because something happens. Whenever intelligent species evolves, takes over its planet, something stops it. What if the thing that stops it is that you can either have real curiosity and imagination and adventure, which is to pursue and explore, find new planets, find new life, or you plug yourself into a simulation that makes you think you've done it already. Is that the great filter? Is that anytime an intelligent species evolves, it eventually hits that option, and 99 out of 100 times it will pick that option because it makes more sense. And it does make more sense. If all that you conceive as reality is just neurons being fired in your brain, rather than chasing something that will fire those neurons for you, plug in and we can fire them from home. Do you know what I mean? Why would you waste your resources traveling the universe where you can just put yourself in a simulation that tells you already did? You didn't have to mine your, plutonium, your uranium. You didn't have to do any of that. You didn't have to go through the slaughter and the suffering and the hard work and the labor and the finite lifetime. You didn't have to do any of that. You just plugged yourself in and then you thought you already did it.
Yeah, but don't you think that humans have a sense of adventure and that would just be too boring? I don't think that would happen. I think
so.
humans have that sense of adventure. You can jump on and play a video game and it's really fun to explore and stuff. But if they think about being the humans that were the first settlers, the first explorers, and they were going on that real life journey to find the new lands, like, don't you think that would be so much
amazing.
fun?
But if you could have that exact feeling, the exact same feeling with none of the risk of death, depravity, hunger, torture, all the darkness that comes with it, if you could just have the light, I don't know, man, I think we haven't been tempted enough yet. You haven't been given the option. Like that red pill, blue pill moment in Matrix, I think is so symbolic. Like we haven't been faced with the decision really. What if I can say, all right, don't make a decision straight away. Just press this button. I'll show you for a year what this is like. I'll make you 21. You'll be 21-year-old Louis. You'll be healthy as fuck. You have no problems. You don't get tired. You don't get sick. Everyone loves you. You're a billionaire. I'll just give it to you for a year. And I'll plug you out and ask you if you want to go back in or not, if you want to live in this world again. Do you really think if you could honestly be there to the point where you're like supermodels, anything you can possibly think of is so real to you that you can't tell the difference? And I unplug you and say, all right, now do you want to stay in what this is or do you want to go back to that? Man, you don't need a lot of your population to stay back in for your whole civilization to crumble. 50%, we're done. We're never leaving this planet, bro. We're never leaving this planet. If half of us can't pull away from that, we never leave this planet.
I think you're right there. I think that if you get a taste for it, it's very hard to go back. But I think that a lot of people, I don't know.
It won't be enough to make us interplanetary. And maybe that's the great filter. Everyone thinks it's like nuclear warfare. It's this, it's that. I think we can solve a lot of those issues. What we can't solve is the deep philosophical ones, which is why is it more important to do it in the real world than the fake world? Why is it more important? And I could give you answers for why I think it is, and I'll probably still fail the test. As soon as you plug me in, I don't think I'm going back. I don't think I'd go back to base reality, bro. I wouldn't. If you can tell me that I don't have the knee pain, I could do anything I want, I can't tell you for sure that I come back. And I think of philosophy all the time.
Yeah.
Most people, they already can't. You tell most people that they're about to spend 95% of the rest of their waking hours on the screen. That thought won't terrify them enough to put the phone down.
Yeah.
So how would they have the mental strength not to?
Well, I mean, most people can't even like have the mental strength to get up and go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
So I think that if you could just go into
and you're jacked, you're absolutely jacked.
You look exactly how you want to look. Yeah, it's very, very difficult to go back.
And here's the thing as well. I can't tell you that it's not more moral either. And here's the thing. Let's say if you're plugged into the system and all it takes to keep you alive is the most basic carbohydrates, carbs, nutrition. You use the least amount of resources possible. You don't need a house. You live in a pod. You live in a pod, take up no space. No space at all. Yet you can be completely fulfilled. You don't have to make anyone else suffer for your happiness. You don't have to hurt anyone. You don't have to do any of these things. But you can have everything you've ever wanted. I couldn't tell you that it was more moral for you to stay in the real world and burn real energy, eat real food. I can't tell you that was better. Not when you think about, all the suffering that goes on just to give us the life that we have. When your phone's made by like a 4-year-old freaking Asian kid somewhere getting 6 cents an hour. Like, I can't tell you that it's better to have a real phone than to be plugged in and think you have it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you talk about that. It reminds me of this anime that I watched once called Gurren Lagann. And the concept behind it is, I don't know if I should tell you because you might watch it.
I actually might really want to watch this. If it's close to that idea, I love exploring this concept of this idea.
It is. It's similar, but it's not about technically being plugged in. But I don't want to tell you too much because there's a few, it's only like a short 30 episode series. Yeah. But there's
in that case, I will actually watch this. And we'll talk about it on pod.
I'd love to. Yeah, you should watch it. It's not exactly like Matrix-esque, but the reasoning behind what you're saying is explored in it, and it's very cool. It was one of the first shows I'd ever seen, and it gets insanely. It just keeps making these huge jumps, and then like when it gets to the villain, there's like, I don't want to say too much, but the reasoning behind the villain, you sort of kind of touched on it just there, and I was like, that actually is very similar.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I think, you know what? Watch Gurren Lagann. We'll do an episode where we break it down. We'll probably get another few viral clips out of that because I don't know if a great deal of people have actually seen Gurren Lagann, but it's such a
that idea. I think I definitely want to see it because I don't know the answer to that one. I really don't. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if any time in we talk about Greek philosophy all the time. We talk about the Romans, all these great thinkers of our time, Nietzsche. None of them have ever been actually dealt that hand and have to figure out how to play it. Like the fact that you could have everything you ever wanted, hurting no one at the time, and you have to turn that down. You have to turn down paradise so you can navigate your way through this world, which is full of suffering. How do you justify it? Why is it better? Can someone really give me a strong argument of why would it be better to stay in the real world when all these things happen? We know the injustices of this real world. The clothes on your very back are made through slave labor. Like if you could somehow actually opt out of all the suffering, but still have everything you've ever wanted, it's almost selfish not to plug in. Like morally, consciously, I don't think there's an alternative, and that's why I think it is the great filter.
You can make the same argument for eating meat though now.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. It's horrible what we do to pigs and cows.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare to the point where I did try to stop eating meat for a while. It is a horrible thing. Like the stuff that we need to sustain us causes a lot of grief and pain to a lot of things. But at the same time, we consider the path to liberty and freedom and happiness of a human to be more important than the suffering of other species. But it's not moral. It's not really moral. If you could think you were eating a steak without having to kill a cow, how is it more moral to kill the cow? And no one can really give me a good answer to that because I don't think there is one. And if that is the case, then no wonder we don't see aliens and high-tech civilizations, and because they're all just plugged in thinking that they're exploring the universe, because that's a better way to do it than to burn trillions of kilograms of fuel just to get to another planet.
Yeah, you're saying that, but like, what if it goes out in that like Terminator route, right? And then it doesn't need anything to sustain itself. It just becomes this machine
All consuming. Yeah,
that would be fucking next level.
Yeah.
Like maybe
it's
the
an android-esque type thing.
maybe it's androids.
Yeah.
It's not actually aliens.
Well,
they're just androids.
If you hear Elon Musk talk about this, and I love when he talks about this stuff. This is probably one of his best areas. The reason he wants Neuralink is he wants humans to be able to like keep our humanity and just weave it in with the technology. So in that way, like you could have your consciousness, everything means to be human consciousness, in a body that doesn't need food, doesn't need water. Do you know what I mean? You could still keep the human spirit alive without those pitfalls that we just talked about.
Yeah. But don't you think that there's some relevance to pain? You kind of need the pain.
Well, I love that about Matrix. They say that in the third one, when he talks to the designer, but the architect, that's what they call him.
Yeah.
He says that we did make a perfect Matrix. We made one without any suffering, and they kept waking up.
Oh,
That's a really, really good part to it. Like they did make a
Yeah,
Matrix that
that's
had
right.
no suffering, had no war, had no disease, but we kept waking up. We couldn't believe it was real. So there is an element of that, and that's a crazy thing that maybe to make it believable for you, so you don't realize you're just laying in this pod, being fed a mush through some tubing. Like, the way to make it real is to give you that sense of suffering.
Yeah, you can't have a life devoid of drama. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it just gets boring.
But fundamentally, all the drama you feel, all the pain and suffering you feel, they're just neurons being fired in a certain way. And that's the most devastating part about what we think reality is. We think it's something real, but at the fundamental level, like, it's just electricity moving through your brain. Every single thing you experience is just electricity going through your brain.
That's why it makes it even more strange that things have come to exist for what reason? That's how I can see how people go down that nihilism, or they go down like a religious route and they say that something created everything for a reason.
Yeah.
Because like there is no real reason for things to adapt themselves into cats and dogs and humans and stuff. It's just
no reason whatsoever.
It's
It's actually madness. It's chaos put into order, and then you add some bit of self-sustaining desire not to die, a bit of desire to reproduce, and that's it. And that's all. How can you be satisfied with that? How do you avoid nihilism if that's all it is?
It is really weird, when you think about it like that. These are just neurons just doing shit for some reason.
What I love is there's a what's his name? It's not Carl Sagan. It's the more recent guy. I've read blank on his name, but he's currently like the voice of astrology. Brian Greene, I want to say maybe is his name.
Right.
He's really, really good. But he has one where someone asks him. Actually, it would be really great if we could react to the clip. Brian Cox, that's his name. Can you put it on YouTube?
Will we get pings for it though?
Ooh.
We'll probably get pings.
Possibly. Let me find the actual quote that he says.
Yeah,
what he says is that there's only one real problem in philosophy, one real problem that's worth exploring. And the way he explains it, what we just talked about, it's dead on. It's an astrophysicist explanation to that question, basically. Brian.
While you do that, I'm going to start looking through
He's a
Reddit.
Physicist.
Quote on. We're gonna start doing.
It won't take me long to find this.
No, we're gonna start doing some segments here where we go through the Perth Reddit as well, and we start reacting to some of the posts in there. I just find the Perth Reddit just so funny sometimes, and sometimes there's some really interesting stuff, or even Oz Finance. It's actually a good way to get content. I think generate some content.
I just want to try to find. Why is no one just give me the transcript of this? I can see the video again, but I just want the
When someone posted here, Coles and Woolworths prices trend as And sorry, Coles and Woolworth price trend and predictor is available for download use now. See, seeing as how popular. Fuck, I can't even. What was wrong with me? I can't even read today, bro. I'm fucked, eh? I'm actually cooked today. But here, this guy post.
Yeah. So this is what he
Go on,
says.
say it, yeah.
So he says, "What does it mean to live a finite, fragile life in an infinite, eternal universe?" He says that's the real question about like philosophy that should be explored. So what we just talked about just then is like if all your experiences can fundamentally be replicated just through some electricity firing through your brain, what does it mean to actually be the real human life form then? Does it mean anything at all? And I don't know anyone who subscribes to this atheism worldview who could tell me that it means anything at all. So there's no meaning to it at all. If it can all be simulated through just a bit of electricity, what does it mean to look for life elsewhere? What does it mean to be a good person? Like if it's just the experience and there's no other meaning to it, that is like a dangerous bottomless pit you can fall into, I think. But I think that's why we need God. We need some sort of idea on religion, some idea on purpose that we're made for something. That there has to be. I know it's a lie. If you want to even believe it's a lie, I think it's a lie worth having. I don't think the truth is something we can grapple with without falling into that simulation that we just talked about.
Maybe it's the truth. I mean, it's the thing. Like, is religion real? Is there an all knowing, all seeing creator that made all this stuff? Pretty interesting to think about, because if there isn't, then it's just a fucking chaotic wild ride, which is fun though.
Which is
so
completely
fun.
fine. But if it's just about the wild ride, plug yourself in. Have a much wilder one. One where you never die.
True, you could do that.
But it's a really hard. There's a reason why when you dive into this sort of topic, it's a really hard juxtaposition now to come back and talk about like real world things. Like we were talking about here, like Perth now.
And now I'm Perth now in food prices.
Nothing might mean anything at all.
Yeah, and we're just like, and anyways, the price of Pasito is through the roof.
Yeah. How do you just come back to that? Yeah.
What up, Timmy? How's it doing, brother? Long time no see, man. What's going on?
How you going, man?
Fuck, it's so funny. Yeah, we're having like some deep philosophical.
That was a cool one. That was a really fascinating.
It is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I can't. I wanted to tell you as well. The one of the main things about Gurren Lagann, like the symbolism, is one of the main symbols in the show is a drill.
Yeah.
So it's like the story starts with them drilling. Like they just have these little hand drills and they just drill holes and shit all day. That's what they do. It's really interesting.
I'm so intrigued.
You're gonna
very
fucking
intrigued.
love it. I don't know how many people have actually seen Gurren Lagann. I don't know if Timmy, if you've seen Gurren Lagann. It's called, the full name is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. That was the full name of the anime. Most people just.
And whereabouts is it from? Is this?
It's a Japanese anime. It's real old now, but it changed me when I watched it. I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And you can watch it in a 30 episode series, or you can watch 2 movies.
All right.
So I would suggest watching the 30 episodes, and then you can go watch the 2 movies because they're different. They end a little differently. Cool. They still finish.
I'm gonna start us up today. This sounds fantastic.
Man, the final scene in the movie is unbelievable. Like I need you to. It's like it touches on evolution. It's like evolutionary. It's so cool, man.
So I would love to write a story about that concept that we just talked about, because
how crazy was that video I sent you about what's her name? Harry Potter writer.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
That was crazy.
What's the name? The name of it is called Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. But if you just search Gurren Lagann, like G-U...
Type it in the chat.
Yeah, I can type it in the chat for you. You'll be able to find it. It's like...
Nice. Yeah, no, that was absolutely crazy. It's for everyone just listening. Me, Louis sent me this clip. It was J.K. Rowling going back to the apartment where she wrote the first Harry Potter book from, and her like not realizing. I said to you how wild it is at the time. Like you never know when your next attempt is going to be the one that changes your life forever. And I think that's something so powerful about that, right? Because you felt it before with all the stuff that you try. I have it as well when I'm trying to write a book. I'm like, why am I doing this again? And you almost lose your enthusiasm for it. But the fact that you can never know when the next thing you attempt is going to be the thing, it's brilliant.
It's crazy when she's talking about it. She's like, I was writing this book, and she's like, all right, so like if I bring it to publishers and then they don't like it, like so what? Who gives a shit, you know?
Yeah, I'm just back where I was before.
And literally, she was writing the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Like if you think about that, right? Think about that
thought
process.
Bible, bro.
And she was writing Philosopher's Stone. Like and she was doubting the shit out of herself
Yeah.
before that. It's crazy to
Yeah.
think that had she turned around, had she turned back and gone, this is fucking stupid, she literally changed society with those
Yeah.
books.
And it's crazy that what you need to remember as well, she had just her first draft. It hadn't gone through a publisher, it hadn't gone through editing yet. It wouldn't have been the Philosopher's Stone that you read now. It would have been this way worse, primitive attempt of it. And she probably looked at that, man. That's probably a coin toss for her just throwing it out and never doing anything with it. It's wild how close you can be to, like,
Propelling
not being
yourself,
great.
propelling yourself into greatness
Yeah.
is the only thing that was holding her back was her mind, and that was the
Yeah.
only thing that was giving her the ability to
Yeah.
escape.
Well, that's what I hate so much about our generation of distraction, right? I hate it so much. I really do. I'm susceptible to it. I fall prey to it all the time.
Dude, I'm
Like,
the worst.
it's so bad because I have all these things I want to do, and I like to think I have more discipline than regular, like, most people. I'm not ill disciplined, but I still struggle to fight against the amount of things that can distract me. It's an uphill battle.
It's
It's freaking
insane.
crazy. The short reels, the attention span, the focus stealing. I don't know if J.K. Rowling was the same age now, attempting the same thing. I don't think she makes it over that
It'd be
hurdle.
so hard.
I don't think she makes it. Because I've tried writing a book. I've been writing it for like 2 years now. It's so close to finish, bro. I save every time I work on it. I do this to myself. I'll resave it with the last date I touched it. So I'll get this guilt that builds up in me when I see that I'm further and further away from the date I last did it. And I'm like, all right, I'll go back into it. But without that, like, I could finish that thing in a month if I just went for it hard. And I won't do it. I know I won't do it. It's so difficult to do. How much greatness are we not achieving just because we're
Because we're
distracted?
getting trapped on our phones. Yeah, like
I hate these things, man. I hate them so much. Like, I have an animosity towards my phone. It's like a love-hate relationship. I hate that I wake up and I roll over for it.
check your phone.
Yeah, I hate it so
it's
much.
so bad. Timmy says we need the pill from Limitless.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah.
It's what's crazy to me is that I don't know how long you've been watching this channel for, Timmy, and obviously it's died right down. I used to stream a lot, and I mean, like, the streams aren't live anymore, but maybe there's some clips and stuff. You can see Fat Louis, and you can see the evolution of me going from undisciplined, playing video games, drinking, doing all that shit, to getting to where I am now. And the catalyst for that was seeing clips of, like, David Goggins, Jordan Peterson going through, and me just making an active decision to not look at memes and shit, but only start liking positive stuff. And that psyoped me into getting my mindset back to what it was. So I used the fact that I was getting sucked in by reels and that vicious cycle.
Doom scrolling almost, I think they call it.
Doom scrolling, but I used it in a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's why I have this weird love-hate relationship with it, because now I've got this fondness, because there is a way to utilize content to make yourself better, but it's also really bad because if you go down the wrong type of content, it can suck you in and take away any of your potential.
No, that's an absolutely great point, because I think mine is exactly the same as well. It was content that got me out of the mindset I used to have, but now I'm like, how do I grapple with the fact that content itself may be the problem? Content itself is taking up just too much of my time. Like, I do it all the time as well. I don't know how many other people do this, but I'll be driving, I'll listen to some content, I have a great idea, I'll turn off my music, and I'll like monologue to myself just to be able to explore the idea. I'll simulate as if we're sitting right in this scenario. Until we started doing this podcast, I didn't used to do that. I used to have those ideas just like fade away, and mind-numbingly I would just listen. I wouldn't contemplate the idea, I wouldn't build on it, because content doesn't actually allow you to do that, especially if that's all that you're consuming. What we have, which is really lucky, is that every Saturday morning we get together, and as you said, in Rome, we have this conversation where there's a wooden desk between us. We're in a real place together, and we'll discuss these crazy ideas. And now when I engage with content that's fascinating, I'll pause it, and I'll simulate a conversation as if I was having it with you. I'm like trying to like get you to agree with me on something. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what's missing. There's the content, but how do you process it? How do you use it? Do you use it? Or do you just go to the next video, the next clip?
Well, that's the thing as well. Thanks, Timmy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, crazy change that I went through.
Yeah.
If you look back on the person that I was on this, even on this channel, it's
From
all
when I met you as well, bro. Like,
yeah, it's like
I'll take some credit for it.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, because you met me when I was Fat Louis.
Yeah, I did,
You
yeah.
met me at my mindset had changed at that point, but
Mm.
my physical body was in the
Yeah.
process of going
It
through
took a
rebirth.
while. There was a lag time
I was
there.
phoenixing
Yeah.
when you met me.
Yeah,
But
that's a great concept.
you can see that, like, I don't know, you can see the transformation. It's
Mm.
kind of cool. It's unfortunate that I don't have more videos so you can
Yeah.
actually see. But some of the shit that I was like just drinking and like just a waste of time. I was trying to make content on there and like it was fun as well, but it wasn't fulfilling. Like I don't
Mm.
know, it was
It
just
was
weird.
content for content's sake almost.
Yeah, I
right?
was just making fucking random content
Yeah.
trying to see what I could do.
Yeah.
Whereas like I actually enjoy like not that I really love playing Tekken. That was where I found my passion.
Yeah.
Because like I love fighting games, I love drum and bass, and to blend those two together and like
Brilliant mix.
yeah, and bring
Yeah.
my personality out and like have a bit of fun
Yeah.
and like make a character that was like people would watch. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And that was probably some of the best content and some of the best viewership I ever had, which wasn't that much, but it was still really fun
Yeah.
to do.
You built a community around
Yeah,
it as well.
it was very fun, and
Yeah.
like obviously there was some good and bad things about it, but that was probably the most fun I had. But these days I don't really play video games that much.
Well, it's a hard thing now as well. Like we have that same discussion off potty here as well, which is like, well, what do you want the potty to be? What sort of stuff do you actually want to discuss on here? It's like, what do you want to propagate? What do you want to like put out in the world? It's such a hard question to know as well because you don't just want to do the thing that gets you clicks because that's like a race to the bottom as well.
Yeah, I think I sent you a video today about
Yeah.
like the one of the richest men in the world, the 33 billion.
Yeah, you did.
and
Yeah, he
was
said
like,
money's
it's
doesn't mean anything anymore.
doesn't mean anything to him because and the way that he sort of got to being rich is just pursuing the things that he loves. And now I probably agree with what he's saying there, but there is also he says there's a threshold limit.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain amount of money where it sort of becomes pointless after
It's
that.
fuck you money. That's that's
Yeah,
the concept,
But
right?
but like that's a really
Yeah.
insurmountable task
Yeah.
to do. Like to get to something where let's say you're making just passively or not passively $1 million a year. That's probably enough money to go like fuck, I can do anything
Yeah.
I want.
And then the bigger question of what I actually want to do is another whole other realm to enter.
Mm.
Timothy said as well that who we hang out contributes to who we are, whether in a positive or negative way. That mean you influence each other. I think that's a great point as well because I don't have anyone else I discussed that conversation we just had before about like the concept of meaning. That there's no one else I discussed that with.
Yeah.
But if I discussed that with most other people, they would just like glaze over. There's like that.
They have no interest in it.
No
yeah.
interest in it at all.
It's like sometimes it just feels like conversations are so superficial as well with certain people. And I think you're right, Timmy. You are the byproduct of the 5 closest people around you. So if you hang around people that don't want to do better for themselves, aren't pushing themselves every day to do something, or at least striving for something more. Say you hang out with people that are really fun to hang out with because they want to eat bad food, play video games, waste their day, and it's fun. I fucking love it. I know, I know firsthand.
It's
but
fantastic.
it's
Really
the funnest
it's a
thing to
dopamine
do.
ride to the moon. Like it's great.
But you can't be surprised that you don't achieve the goals
Yeah.
that you want to achieve if you hang around with people like that. It's unfortunate, and the coolest part is like you can change with those people together if they're willing to change.
Yeah.
But the craziest part is that you can't make someone change to better themselves.
Yeah.
They have to want to do it
Yeah,
themselves.
you've got to have someone in your life as well. Like I think it's just a guy thing as well, like a man's mind thing, where you have to have someone who like you respect what they've achieved. Like there has to be something you respect about their character. If you have your friend group and you can't think of things that you respect about the character of your friend group, you probably might need some new friends because you should want to be around people who inspire you and you're like, he's so good at doing that. You have to love everything everyone does, but there should be things that you find really impressive about people. And that gives you aspirations, that makes you want to be better. You need to have friends like that.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
I think that's completely on the money there. And it's interesting though, because if you take that concept, right, and you apply it in reverse, so people need to associate themselves with people that are doing better and are trying to do better. But you have to work, I think, within a certain set of parameters. So you can't go from being that guy just playing video games, eating shit, not gymming, to hanging out with someone like us.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for us, it's like, why the fuck am I hanging out with this guy? Like, why the fuck should I let him hang out with me? So it's almost like you need someone that's just close enough to you, and you just can help push each other to jump into those areas.
100%, because your time is limited.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Your time is very limited. And if you're just around people that you're always helping, it's like, well, you also want to be around people who are helping you as well. There has to be a bit of that.
Right. So, so like for us, we'd want to associate with someone that's obviously achieving. Maybe they're doing a really good podcast. Maybe they're really good at business. Maybe they're really good at their job. They dress well.
Could be anything. Just
they
something that you
invest in stuff.
respect.
Yeah.
You respect about them.
So we like to associate with people like that. But then I'm like, why the fuck would they want to associate with me? Why the fuck? Like, you know, like, it's so strange. But it's like, I can think about that looking down at someone, but then you have to think about it looking up at someone that's looking down on you. You're like, I don't want to fucking hang out with these guys.
Yeah.
These are just two fucking dudes talking on Twitch to fucking pretty much the smallest viewership ever. Why would I want to hang out with them? Not that exactly. Like it's funny because it's like you have to see it from both sides. But I think the difference is that people can see when you're trying to better yourself and trying to do something, and there's small steps in between there. Like, you meet people that are slightly better than you're kind of on the same trajectory, and iron sharpens iron. You both get better, and you start jumping into those new pool groups or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah,
anyways.
No, I think you're right. I think
I'm just explaining like my thoughts here. You know, I'm not saying that I won't fucking hang out with someone that plays video games and eats pizza, but it's like
there's an element of balance there as well, right? I think like, you know, have different friends for different times as well. That's the thing. You do want to have that friend group that you can just like kick back with, and then you want to have that friend group who's like, all right, let's go to the gym and let's like, you know, let's talk philosophy. Let's try to figure out the answers to big questions as well. You got to have a bit of everything, right?
Yeah, but then the part that's a bit disheartening is like, say you do have those friends who you like to hang out with and stuff like that. When you start to, there's got to be a certain point where those people that, you know, are 2-3 steps below you, and then you're 3-4 steps above them, at some point, when is it too far to go back and hang out with those people? Like, when is it so far out of touch that you can't even relate to them anymore?
Yeah, and then you always feel guilty when you do cut people out of your life like that as well. Like, we chatted about this podcast before as well. There's just friends that you don't have anymore that you used to have, and the reason you don't have them is like, well, they just kept you in a place.
They started to limit themselves.
They never wanted to get out of that place. They just wanted to harbor like bitterness and resentment to the world and think like, you know, nothing was their fault or responsibility and blame everyone else for what happened to them.
Or even not. Maybe they're just completely content getting home, eating bad food, smoking some weed, playing some video games. That's okay. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah. It's just not something I want to do.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you want to be around people who are doing what you want to do as well. That's the thing that's like, you know, that's the association that you build. You go like, to be honest, the amount of time I go to the gym has increased since we started becoming friends as well, because I see you doing it. So I'm like, I need to go do what he's doing. But there's the element of that. You know, that's why I love like hanging out with you and doing all these things as well. Like, you know, I tell my partner all the time, I'm like, no, like Blue is the reason why I push harder on all these things.
Yeah.
Because I see you doing it. I see you fucking 4 a.m. at the gym. I'm like, all right. Set my alarm. What are you supposed to do after that? I can't be like, oh, and I work, and no, he works as well. Like you get that in your head, you know?
Exactly. It's like that that good energy starts bouncing off of people. You're right. It's like you hang out with people that have good energy, and they sort of fuel each other. And it's very noticeable when you hang out with someone with bad energy, because it starts to rub off on you too. So it's like, it's good that we hang out with each other, because you look at things analytically and are like, hey, this is going to happen. This is a good investment. And you've helped me look at the way I invest in things now as well. So it's like, we've both used positive parts of each other and propelled each other up. That's that jumping there, right? So we've gone up.
Complement each other's strengths.
We've leveled up together because we've benefited each other. And that positive energy seeps off not only just to you and me, but other people around you start to get that as well. And you start to change the group that you're in.
Nothing better than seeing that, seeing your whole group elevate, man.
It's
There's
crazy,
something
right?
so freaking lovely about
I've seen
that.
it.
I love it.
We've both seen it.
My group has as well. Like everyone across the board, like going good jobs, making good money now. Like part of it might just be growing up. I know people who are like older than we are who don't hit that, who don't reach that, you know? So
100%, man. Lad, what's up, man? Looking aesthetic. Thank you, brother.
You're so tanned.
I know, I'm tanned as shit right now.
I'm not really this pasty. This is just a comparison thing, man. I'm quite olive complexioned. I'm Eastern European.
And I think it's because your side is a little bit darker over there.
Yeah.
But like, I look so like, I'm bronze right now because I've just come back from Europe.
It's bullshit.
It's crazy
Absolute
how
bullshit.
different we look. Like,
I'm gonna
Darko
start
looks
tanning.
like a Dracula motherfucker over
It's
here.
fucked, man.
And
Really
I
do.
look like the fucking fountain of youth over
Jesus.
here. It's actually
I look like I'm
insane.
20 years older than you, bro.
I
It's
know,
not
it's
right.
fucking nuts,
Nah,
man.
this is fucked. I'm getting tan now. I'm gonna go stand
Gotta
outside
get
the
a
sun.
tan on.
No, I'm getting tan on.
But thank you, brother. I hope you're doing well, man. What are my thoughts on the P. Diddy situation, man? We actually touched on this
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, I'm still watching it. I saw the guy from One Direction.
Oh,
died.
yeah.
Did that? Someone just sent me a clip of him like in an interview not that long ago talking about Diddy and all these things, and like the interviewer got really uncomfortable. Salma Hayek was with him. She got really uncomfortable, and then like the guy's dead a few weeks later.
Yeah, it's nuts. I saw some shit. Actually, I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's the P. Diddy sort of stuff, and there was this lady, I can't remember her name, but there were some allegations that came out, and she said that Jay-Z and Beyonce were like hanging out with P. Diddy and stuff, and Piers Morgan had this lady on, and she said some stuff.
Yeah,
And then Beyonce and Jay-Z's lawyers contacted Piers Morgan and were like, you need to fucking take this down or censor it. And he did censor it. And now there's like, oh, so the show is not really uncensored anymore.
Yeah.
And it was just all this weird shit going
Man,
on.
I
there.
keep
was
hearing.
like, what the fuck?
I hear heaps of rumors about like Beyonce is like a freaking like psychopath in there. Have you seen the thing that apparently all the women who win the VMAs, the award, the first thing they have to do is thank Beyonce. If they don't thank Beyonce, that's it. They're done.
Is that true?
And there's like 3 or 4 who won it who didn't thank Beyonce and like died shortly afterwards. Like, actually legit. There's like 3. There's
Bro,
Left
this
Eye.
sounds fucking tinfoil hat to me, bro.
Put on here. Put on here like the amount of clips you can find of female singers winning an award, and the first thing they do with a terrified look in their face is like heap praise on Beyonce. Every single time. From Adele, there's freaking what's her name? Lizzo. There's so many of them. The first thing they do after they win, and people are saying Kanye West is aware of this, and that's why when Taylor Swift won it, he immediately grabs the mic and heaps praise on Beyonce, and he did it on Taylor Swift's behalf because he knew what the rumors were that Beyonce hated being outshone in the industry, and she would take anyone down who won the award over her. This is
this is full fucking conspiracy right now.
Honestly, this is crazy just how much there's about this. And there's a guy who actually made there's a rapper made a song about this. It's called She Knows. And the whole thing is like subliminal, like saying about this. He's like
She
saying,
Knows from J. Cole.
Yeah, dude, put the lyrics of that up. He talks about the singers that died, and he even says she knows, and he's referring to people say he's referring to Beyonce in that. I don't know if it's J. Cole. Yeah, it is. Yeah, bad things happen to the people you love, and you find yourself praying to heaven above. Then he says, "Run away, never come back." Where's the actual where it talks about who the people are?
Maybe it's not.
Keep going. I think this is a song. He actually says the names of the people who died. Yeah, there you go. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. Rest in peace to Left Eye. So look into Aaliyah and Left Eye winning the VMA and dying shortly afterwards, and then look into what was her name?
That lady did mention Aaliyah actually.
Yeah, no. This is actually quite wild. This one, man. This is quite wild. I don't think it's a conspiracy on this one at all. I think this looks
crazy.
fucked.
I didn't know that was what.
And
this
then
was
what's her name as well? Amy Winehouse. She won it as well. Shortly after went to remission, died.
But she was full on drugs. Though.
Yeah, but she was clean. She was clean for ages, and she won the award, and she didn't thank Beyonce after it. And then her life just deteriorates and spirals down. She's dead within like months afterwards. There's so many instances of this, and you watch them like thank Beyonce when they win. The ones like who thanked her, dude, they look terrified, man. Yeah, Cat Williams has talked about it as well.
So hang on a second. So explain this again.
So the idea is
hold on 1 second. Is it? I just need to figure out which one is our multicam.
Yeah. So multicam out here, right? So the idea is that Beyonce is basically a psychopath, hates being outshone in the industry. Anytime a female actress blows up, starts getting really big, wins an award ahead of her, she doesn't like drop to her knees and thank Beyonce, that's it. Like, that's it. There's a whole orchestrated thing behind it where P. Diddy's involved as well, or Jay-Z. That's it. That person's
And
gone.
you're telling me that J. Cole wrote the song
Yes.
She Knows,
Yes.
and the reason he says rest
he
in peace
references 2 of the most prominent actresses or singers who died.
So he says, rest in peace to Aaliyah, rest in peace to Left Eye, Michael Jackson, I'll see you just as soon as I die.
There is a story about Michael Jackson. There's actually a quote from him where he calls out a producer because he says that Mariah Carey came to him crying, like terrified. And he's on stage. this was shortly before he died as well. You can find that as well. Michael Jackson started speaking out against it. He even dropped the name of one of the people who was like apparently stalking Mariah Carey because she was the same thing. She was getting too big and she won an award and she didn't drop to her knees and thank Beyonce for it. And if you just go put Lizzo thanking Beyonce, Adele thanking Beyonce, all these things, and the way that they do it, man, it looks like they are terrified, man. They look terrified. There is this fear in their eyes, and the camera always cuts to Beyonce as well. Now go next one. Just Adele thanking Beyonce. It's so uncharacteristic the way they do it. And then when you look at what Kanye West did through this context, the fact that he snatches the mic away from Taylor Swift and just puts praise on Beyonce immediately afterwards.
But that could just be Kanye wilding out though as well. Why is everyone thanking Beyonce on TikTok?
Oh, that's people. That's people dropping like the freaking because it's like a well-known thing through.
Why is everyone doing those thank you Beyonce TikToks?
So everyone's actually
read this shit.
Is everyone just putting like the freaking
social media room with a wave of memes which have people thanking Beyonce and seemingly anything set to J. Cole's She Knows.
Yeah.
The meme stems from conspiracy that sees Queen Bee wield immense power, acknowledging that multiple musicians have thanked the singer while accepting an accolade on stage, despite being seemingly
So
unrelated.
Adele, Britney Spears, Lizzo, Lady Gaga, all across the board, man. All across the board. And the two that didn't, or three that didn't, Amy Winehouse, Left Eye, and Leah. They didn't say anything about it when they took their award. And yeah. Well, you know exactly what happened to him.
Wow, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, dude, this is wild. I talked to my mate Luke about it. He was aware of this as well. It's like a well-known thing for people that follow this stuff. Like, it's been rumored for a while.
Dude, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clip us talking about this and put She Knows in the background.
Dude, that would be wild.
Could you imagine? That might actually be a viral clip.
But look into what happened to Left Eye and Leah. And it was right after they won, I think it was the VMA. They won the award. They were blowing up in the industry. They were getting really popular.
Fuck, this is so weird.
And I think Beyonce has this psychopathic thing about no one can outshine her.
But this could just be all fucking hearsay.
It could be, but the way that they think of it, it's absolutely, it gives you a weird feeling to see them actually on stage. I think for it, like it is so much praise, man. For some people, who had no interaction with her in their career at all.
It's like she allowed them to win or something.
She gave you the grace, or they did win legitimately, but they have to make sure that they say who is actually the best.
To Queen Bee.
Yeah.
So it says Kanye West tried to save Taylor Swift from Beyonce. Fans speculate. One of the most notable instances of a seemingly uncalled for vote of thanks to the star came during the VMAs in 2009 as Taylor Swift began to deliver her acceptance speech. West interjected to declare the award should have gone to Beyonce instead. However, some claim that the move was an effort to save the blank space page singer, blank space singer from Fate of Doom.
Yeah.
He delivered one of the most memorable calls. Yeah, all right. So
and then you go here as well. There's Adele literally like crying, thanking her. There was Lizzo like literally like pouring so. It's almost
artist of my life. Adele says she was.
It's gratuitous, man.
I can't possibly accept this award. I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious. But the artist of Beyonce
of my life is Beyonce. What a weird fucking thing to say after you've won an award. To grovel and be like terrified, and there's looks of actual fear in their eyes when they hear their name get called out for the win. And it's not one, man. It's like all across the board.
So,
all across the board.
However, at one point in the night, Adele dropped her accolade, shattering it into 2 bits. Some fans began theorizing that the move was intentional so Beyonce could get a piece of it. However, the theories have since been debunked following a backstage video that came out.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's people looking into why she broke it.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
But look into Aaliyah and Left Eye. Just see what happened to them, the story about them, how they died. Let's just see if there's any shenanigans about it. Let's see what the actual official story is.
Some people are saying She Knows. Oh, sorry, whoops. Some people are saying She Knows is going she, as in Sean. Jay-Z first name, Knows, as in Knowles. Beyonce last.
I'm not too sure about that necessarily.
Knows.
I think he is just trying to say that she knows what's happened to these people. Whether he's suggesting that it's not Beyonce directly who does it, it's Jay-Z and like whatever the thing that they have going on. But just look into Aaliyah and Left Eye. I just want to remind myself. I looked into it. They both died suspiciously, but I want to know what it was that happened to them exactly.
I will. I just want to read this here. So in the song Illuminati by J. Cole on the same album, She Knows, as She Knows. So in the fuck, I can't even read today. What's wrong with me? In the song, fuck bro, I'm so cooked from last night.
Can we read it?
Listen, hang on.
Okay.
Let me
In the
get.
song
let me get-
Illuminati by J. Cole, on the same album as She Knows, he's talked about the Illuminati, and then he mentions Beyonce and the Oscar in the same verse. The chorus of the song says, "Sometimes I brag like HOV, born sinner, the opposite of a winner."
Strange. Queen Bee has been the subject of several conspiracy
Yeah.
theories over the years, including secret ties to the Illuminati. She has also been accused of
Yeah.
incorporating subliminal messages in her videos.
That's a whole other side of things, but for this one here, it's a pretty standard conspiracy. The actual conspiracy, not to get yourself devolved too much of this, is just that she hates being outshone. You can see stuff happen with Destiny's Child, all the rest. She went solo. She hates being outshone. Anytime a young black singer or young singer took the limelight away from her, something bad happened to him. And that is like a long-standing thing. Like look at Wipe the Left Eye and Aaliyah.
What happened to Leah?
Yeah.
What does anyone
I don't want to chat, no.
PDF files and
Devil Worship, whole industry.
worshippers?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I've seen so many things where she's doing like weird symbology and.
So R. Kelly was the one that groomed Aaliyah. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I think it's all linked. I think Beyonce and P Diddy have a lot.
Oh, hang on. That was she died in
Yeah.
a plane crash.
Yeah. So there's that one there. Now look at
But she was getting groomed by R. Kelly, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
But the main thing is she won an award shortly before this.
So she won an award.
She won an award shortly before this.
What happened to my mate Afro Man? Oh, Ash. Ash is still around. I haven't actually seen him for a bit. I chat to him every now on Instagram, but yeah, I haven't seen him, man. He's busy working. Ash works. I don't know if he's put his job out there, but I'm not going to say that. But yeah, he works quite a bit and pretty good job. But yeah, just
busy, man.
Full on.
Yeah.
He's always busy doing shit.
Put Left Eye on as well now after this.
So
what happened to Left Eye? Just keep the same text in.
Yeah,
just change the name at the end. Left Eye. So one died in a plane crash. So car crash.
Fatal car crash.
So all of them shortly after winning as well.
Yeah, right.
And most importantly, they didn't thank Beyonce after they won. They were competition.
But you know, it's
They
very
were competition,
easy
bro.
to push back on this. It's very easy to link these two things together, right? Like it could just be bullshit.
It could just be bullshit. It could be at the fame of the win, but like that, two unfortunate accidents happen to two singers who take the limelight away from you shortly after they win the award.
Very strange.
Very strange. Like if you think this is all legit, I've got a vaccine I'd love to sell you.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude, we know that when it comes to money, when it comes to like power and status, all these things, these people are freaking lunatics, man. They're absolute
Hollywood
lunatics.
has been
Hollywood is
fully
crazy.
exposed the
Have you heard
last year or so
an interview with Rihanna when she was 16, where she's talking about what it was like to sign for Jay-Z Records? She said she came there to the hotel they were at. They had a meeting. They were on the 22nd floor. She said that they locked her in there. She was in there for like till 4 a.m. And then Jay-Z told her, you either sign this record. There's two ways you leave this building. One is with this record deal. The other one's through the window. He said that to a 16-year-old Rihanna. There's a quote of her saying this in an interview. These people are psychopaths, man.
Is that actually 100%
Yeah, that's actually 100% legit. Because 16-year-old Rihanna discussing signing with Jay-Z.
Yeah, I'm going to give you this.
Yeah.
I can't fucking type or speak today, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
easy,
in the
bro.
fucking state. Sorry, everyone.
Easy, bro. You just touched on such a freaking... I'm still learning about this one. This is a fresh conspiracy to me, but it seems legit that these people are fucking sociopaths, man. They've listened to like some of Eminem's lyrics. I think he's been dropping hints about this for a long time.
Didn't he call out Diddy in one of his like most recent songs?
He said
all this as well?
he didn't just misspell rapper without a P Diddy. He spells it R-A-P-E-R. It says, "Oh, whoops! I just misspelled rapper and I left out the P Diddy."
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was like literally calling him a raper. Like, it was really clever as well.
I see.
But this one here,
let's
yeah, bro. We'll wrap this one up soon, but this is actually insane.
We have to touch on some Reddit stuff as well.
Yeah. So we didn't let her leave. They kept a 16-year-old Rihanna, and he was 30 at the time as well.
Hang on a second. So what's this say here?
So this is an article about it. He held her in his office until 3 a.m. to secure her first record deal, where he got like almost exclusive rights to her in perpetuity. So like complete fucked up sort of deal. And Rihanna was getting quite big at the time as well. So I'm saying Jay-Z is like has so much power and influence in that sort of space that I think if any singer was starting to outshine Beyonce, I think he saw to it. I'd say.
So
yeah, that video of Justin Bieber with P Diddy and like that's why the lady said on Piers Morgan that Justin Bieber's like mouth was wet in the clubs, like he was fucking being forced to go down on P Diddy. I remember seeing That was disgusting. I heard about that.
Did you see the
That
video?
was so disturbing. That
You see the video of P Diddy meeting up with Justin Bieber after
patting
a
him
year?
down for a while.
No. It was like after a year, and they like we're doing this interview, and he's like, "Hey, like, why have you been hanging out with me and
Yeah.
stuff? I haven't seen you." He's like, "Oh, like,
Justin Bieber seems really scared.
yeah."
As well.
He's like, "Oh, sorry, like, I heard you try to contact my manager." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, maybe I'll give you my number now." He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, let me get your
Did
number."
you see the other one where
Very
they met up like
strange.
a few years after that?
No.
They meet up and PD comes up to. It looks like he's trying to hug him, but he's actually patting down his chest like he's making sure he's not doesn't have a wire on him. There's a video of that as well. And PD
dude, this is
meets Justin
crazy.
Bieber and pats him down for a while. This is like a year or two ago.
He's like definitely like an asset, right? He was like some sort of like agent, federal agent or something like that.
We're talking about the freaking Russell Brand thing where he was holding that egg. I told you about that, didn't I?
We did speak about that. Yeah.
There was an interview with Russell Brand after Game to the Greek where he talks about P Diddy, and it is disturbing. Like if you listen to it normally,
I watched that whole thing. Like,
where he's like, he's a really forceful man. He makes you do things that you might not want to do, but you think to yourself, "Oh, he's a powerful guy. I might as well do." It's like he's dropping hints that like all this fucking weird shit happened.
Yeah, he's like, I wouldn't want to get on his bad side sort of stuff. Like, yeah.
And then he talks about how like I told you the story about the egg test that they made fucking male rappers doing shit like that. If you want to sign with us, like this is what you have to do. It's bizarre as hell. And there's a random photo of Russell Brand posing with P Diddy holding an egg.
Fucking weird, man. I don't know.
I hope not. I like listening to Russell Brand, but I've never listened to him since then. I'm like, fuck, I think he was part of this shit.
He has sort of like he pulled himself out of it though.
Pulled himself out of it, but you need to come clean. You need to be honest. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
All this stuff is weird. Yeah. Someone said,
yeah.
Now imagine that you have a 16-year-old daughter, and older man said this to her, man or woman. Would you be okay with it? I don't even have a daughter, and it's hard no for me.
Well, scroll up so you see what he actually said to her as well. So that's the clip. So here, up, scroll up. So this is where his quote is right here. So it says, he told them, "We don't sign songs here. We sign artists. But there's two ways you can leave here. One is you go through the door if the deal's signed, or you go through this window and we're on the 29th floor." He said that to a 16-year-old Rihanna who was there. She was like, "I'll sign over my songs, but I don't want to sign over in perpetuity like me as an artist." And he basically threatened her and forced her to sign a contract that says for her whole life as a musician, he has control. So he has control over what music she can make, where she can play, everything. He's in control. That is like so dystopian. She's like a first world slave under that sort of scenario.
Yeah, I think the music industry is like that though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's very fucking scuffed.
Yeah, same thing with Taylor Swift. She had to redo all the songs, call them Taylor Cut, so she could actually have the ownership over her own songs. She told all the fans to never buy Taylor Swift songs on Apple or Spotify, but to only go to Taylor's Cut because she had to remaster all of them because she didn't actually own her music.
Yeah, right.
And she'll never own it.
That's crazy. Yeah,
dude, it's wild, man. It is wild. I reckon we'll probably have cause one here. We've got ourselves into a really juicy topic, but it's very late in the day.
But the Reddit, man.
The Reddit.
What time do you need to bounce?
Now.
Oh.
I'm already running late.
All right.
We get caught up into the craziest shit just as I'm about to leave.
I know, dude.
We do. But next time we'll actually start the episode by going through Perth Now Reddit clips and just finding the wildest shit through that.
We got it.
I will touch on this because I've read the paper. I was reading the paper
each
day.
Yeah.
Taxpayers are going to fund the niche living payouts.
They are doing that. Fucking hell.
The fund has run out. So taxpayer money, rather than going after the guy who made the money for the whole thing, who still has the money for the whole thing, or frozen assets, all the rest of the stuff, taxpayers are going to pay out bad financial purchases of other people.
So just explain to anyone that's just tuning in quickly this sort of process here. And shout out to the people on X, by the way, and Twitch. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, this is a very local issue for us here, but we have like a builder called Niche Living who basically took on too many jobs, didn't have the money to actually finish the jobs, left people who've paid almost like the full price for their houses with a slab of concrete and nothing else for 18 months, was it? More than that.
More than that. It's
people
like 2-3
paying a
years.
mortgage and rent for a place to live at the same time, basically financially being put under stress. Basically went insolvent, right? That's basically what happened to them. Oh, what's the text on yours, by the way? You got red text on yours.
Oh, whoops. Did someone fucking subscribe there? Whoopsies.
Put that in the front.
I don't even know who that was. Sorry, whoever that was. Thank you. If you subbed
appreciate that, guys. Sorry about that. We normally will give you a shout out, but we let that one slip.
Yeah, I actually need to. Thanks for reminding me of that. I need to turn off the alerts because how did that even happen? Because it's actually switched off.
But anyway, I was going to say,
carry on. Yeah.
So basically, people got left with a slab of concrete and nothing else, whilst they're paying for their mortgage, they're paying for rent still for a place to live.
Yeah.
So the company went insolvent, basically. They said, "Oh, we can't finish your buildings. We don't have the money to do it." they basically declared bankruptcy. I think they filed for bankruptcy. I think it was Niche
Yeah,
Living?
so essentially, niche living was they weren't going to get put back up for their builder's rego, and if that didn't happen, then the people could access their home indemnity insurance. It was up to $200,000 to finish their builds. So they went to the state administrative tribunal, and essentially SAT said that we are going to renew his builder's license. So that meant that people couldn't get their HII, and then they found him essentially building his own multi-million dollar
his wife's
house for
house
his
was being built.
missus,
Yeah,
right? His wife.
fucking hell.
And then people were like, mate, you've got like all these slabs put down. You haven't done any work for
Mm.
2 or 3 years on our properties.
Yeah.
And now you're working on your missus'
Yeah.
house. So anyways,
And the trick is, as soon as you put a slab down, you have like, it's a trick, isn't it? Once they put the slab down, technically they've started building, so you can't actually try to get your money back.
That's
you
right.
can't claim that you don't have the house or
Yep.
anything like that. You have to start paying your mortgage basically that you've got on the thing.
Yep.
So that's just insane. But basically, what's recently happened is that they've took away his license, so people could apply for this insurance. But then the insurance company is getting bailed out by the taxpayer because they can't afford to pay everyone out.
Yep.
So people like me, Louis, anyone else who works in WA, who pays taxes in Australia, you are funding this whole process now.
Yeah, so this guy's, not to mention
Criminal,
the
man.
niche living guy is a multi-millionaire.
But
He's a multi-millionaire, and when they went to SAT and it went to the court case, they decided not to go after him specifically for money to fix this issue. They decided to go through not letting him build houses for 10 years, and he can't make another building company,
he can't
right?
Phoenix, basically.
Yeah, so that allowed people to get their home indemnity insurance.
Yeah.
But now, because the funding that you're saying has run out, I don't understand how that works, because I thought the home indemnity insurance comes from the the insurance companies.
But the insurance companies basically gone to the government and said, hey, we can't afford to pay out all of this. We're out of money now.
That's
so
what
government,
they said.
Yeah, so the government's stepping in now. But basically, the worst thing about this, and I say it all the goddamn time, taxation is fucking theft. It is theft. In what world am I now paying off these people's houses?
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the people who got stitched up by this
100%.
guy. But in what world do my tax dollars now go to funding this whole operation? I don't have I don't have a dog in this race. Why are we paying for it?
Well, I think the greater issue here is, why did they not go after him specifically to recoup this money? Because then it becomes a taxpayer bailout, exactly like what happened when Wall Street completely crashed the market. The American government had to bail out Wall Street.
Bail out the banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's a great point, but they'll say that the reason they did it that way was, rather than having it lost up in the legal system trying to get the money back, they were trying to help out the people who are in a crisis, not able to afford the mortgage and rent at the same time. So by doing it the way they've done it, they get the money to the people quicker. True. But now it's taxpayer money. And I think that's the worst thing about it. Why is the system built this way? That the money that gets siphoned off us, we have no control of where it goes afterwards. We have zero control of where this money goes. I hate it so much because it's like, the idea that they can spend my money better than I can really pisses me off.
Well, yeah, it's this weird double-edged sword, because it's like, if you're giving insurance, and what is the home indemnity insurance good for then, if it can't cover everything? I don't know. I don't understand the full logistics of it.
I don't think it's ever supposed to be activated in this way, where you've got this many people needing it exactly the same time.
Activating it all at the same time.
Yeah. You're supposed to have other pieces in place not to let this happen, basically. And that's the real crime of it. Like, there was no protection in place. And I don't want to blame the people who got duped, but at the same time,
No, it's the system that's built this way, because what happens in WA is that the builders have a huge power, it's not an imbalance, but kind of like the power balance is fully geared towards builders. Whatever the builders want, the builders get.
Yeah.
So any sort of regulations or laws to be put in place that would restrict or reduce the builder's ability to do whatever the fuck they want is never going to come through. One, because the builders host all these little parties that all the politicians go to, and they're all fucking seen going there and having a good time and drinking champagne.
Wouldn't be surprised if there's some video footage from some back rooms there as well. The same way we found Diddy and Epstein and all the rest of that.
There's been so many scenarios where big builders have invited politicians to go to these little parties, and then They get whatever they want, and
Yeah.
it all that does is hurt the
Stick around.
industry for the builders that do
Yeah.
the right thing, but it also makes it so risky for anyone to want to
Stick
build a
around.
fucking house because it's completely geared against you.
Yeah.
The builder can do whatever they want. You've just seen it right here, right now.
And that's the problem with Land Corp from Tim. Yeah, that's a whole one to get into on itself. The amount of corruption that was happening there.
With Landcorp, and
Yeah.
welcome, Tim, brother. How you
Welcome,
doing,
how you
man?
going?
Good to see you.
Tune in again, mate. But that's the thing with a lot of the bureaucracy that we have. It's like they will only ever encroach with their laws on you because you can't defend yourself, right? You're not the donator. You just vote for them. Your vote's pointless. If they buy out both sides of the parties, what the hell does your vote matter to them?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with all these laws they put in place. The only law that will be passed is one that encroaches on your freedoms. It will never be one that stops you from getting ripped off. Very rarely will they actually pass a law that tackles the big issues, because why would they?
Yeah. The building industry right now is
So
fucking
all I
cooksy, man.
want is the government to just take less of my money then. I don't trust them to do anything for me. I don't trust them to help me in any way. If you do trust them, I think you leave yourself very open towards corruption and exploitation. Because you don't know who they are. They don't know who you are. Why would you assume in good faith that they're only going to act in your best interest?
Look,
It seems naive, right?
to push back on that quickly, I think that there is, like, I know, like, I'm not going to say too much, but I know that there's people in government that do great work. 100%.
Oh, I would
there is.
agree with that as well.
And it's not the fact that taxpayers, like, they're just taking tax. They're like, ha, I'm taking people's money and shit like that. But just the way, like, when people know they're dealing with the government, they always quote more, right? So that is the people costing the people money too.
Yeah.
If you know you're doing a government contract, generally people will tack the price up, right? So if you've ever done that, then you're part of the problem too.
But think of it this way, right? Well, I put it this way. Stop thinking of taxation the way you think about it right now. Think about it as if you're purchasing a service, because that's actually what it's supposed to be. Your taxes are supposed to be buying you services that keep your society running, right? If you're going to do business with someone, who would you rather do business with? Someone who you know, at least the face and name of?
Well, like niche living?
What I'm trying to say to you is that with the government, you don't know who it is. You don't know where the money's going. You don't know who's paying. You don't know what product they're doing. There's no accountability to you.
But there's no accountability even if it's not.
But when you at least choose who you do business with, it's a way more direct. You can still get ripped off, but it's way more direct. It's like 1-2. It's 1-2. It's you and the person providing the service. And if you have an open market, you can choose who you want to provide you the service. And if someone's being dodgy, you find out. You're going to do business with niche living now? No. Why not? They're corrupt as fuck. Are you going to still pay taxes? Of course you are. It doesn't matter how corrupt your government is. You're still going to pay your taxes.
Yeah, but
so there's no accountability.
I think what you're saying, the government is corrupt.
No, I'm not saying it's corrupt. I'm saying that even if they were, you still have to do business with them. And that's the problem with the way the taxation system works, is that there's no choice for you.
Hang on a second,
really.
though, but if no one if you didn't have to pay tax, then a whole bunch of shit that does get done by the government, which is good work, would not happen as well.
True. But I am skeptical, and the key word here is skeptical, that it's efficiently run. Very skeptical. I think it's very wasteful. And you said it yourself, it's the incentives that are all wrong. Right? You said that people overquote when it's the government because it's not their money. They don't care about spending the money. Like, I do think we need government, but I don't think the way the system currently works with how much money goes to government, how much it spends, how much it takes from people. Man, they fought a revolutionary war over 2% on tea tax. That was enough to fight the monarchy. We get taxed 35%. We get taxed on payroll. You get taxed on a purchase. You get taxed when you try to sell something. You get taxed when you try to buy a stock. You can't.
100%. I think I agree with you.
Man.
I don't know if I completely agree with your criticisms on government holistically. I definitely agree that there's too much tax. There's too much tax on too many things, I think.
Yeah, well, Tim's just said, imagine if we could opt out of paying taxes and they didn't get our tax at the end of the year. What if you could what if it was a scaling system as well?
What do you mean there?
Pay G taxes. So instead of the taxes coming out of your account every time you get paid, you just pay it once at the end of the year.
What's the difference?
Well, Tim, do you want to explain what the difference between that would be? As far as I can consider, it will be probably the same still. What would be the difference in that?
Not getting your tax taken out.
Or if you pay back, getting it right at the end of the year. Probably you can move your money around a bit better.
Why would you? So you're saying that you would get a lump sum at the end of the year,
based on what your income is.
Yeah, but how would that change anything? It's the same.
Well, you could invest the money, you could have losses throughout the year that then actually knock down your taxable income, and you're not counting on the government to assess it and actually, you know, give you the reimbursement.
But then you're at the risk of not being able to pay your tax at the end of the year.
Yeah, declare bankruptcy. Fine.
That's how it used to be? I didn't know
I'd have to
that.
look into
I've
that.
never had that,
But
but
all I want to say on my main core principle and criticism is
I think you need to flesh it out because
Yeah.
the way that you're speaking right now, you're saying government's corrupt, they
Mm.
take my money, they waste it, they don't deserve it, blah,
What do
blah,
you think
blah.
COVID was? How much do you think we paid per one of those vaccine doses?
Yeah, I know what you're saying there, but
Well,
you also...
what I will say, give me one quick attempt here just to repivot it a little bit. Let's put that into one box, whether or not I think the government's corrupt. Let's put corruption in one box separately. My main thing that I'm saying is that, as a core concept, to believe that someone will act in your best interest, the further removed they are from you, the further away they are physically, emotionally, culturally, the further away someone is from you, the less likely you should be to assume that they'll act in your best interest. The less accountable they are to you, the less you should trust them. That is just a core concept of life. You should trust your family more than a stranger. You should trust your neighbor more than a foreigner. That, of course, that's just core human psychology, sociology, that's human behavior. The more close knit ties you have with someone, the more you should trust them. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you get paid, right, tomorrow. I say, hey, Louis, can you give me 30% of your money? You would think, well, that's a fucking lot. But at least to some extent you go, well, Darko knows me. He's not going to rip me off here. There's at least some trust there. But then if you come along and say, some politician doesn't know who the hell you are, is just going to take 33% of your money, and you should just assume that they're going to spend it well. You should just assume that they're going to provide you something for that. You should have so much more skepticism for the government than we do.
I think that what you're saying here is valid, but I think the part that you don't like is that you're saying that you don't know where the money's being spent and you don't have any way to know or what they're going to spend it on. So you're saying that you don't like that idea that you have no sway on where the money goes.
I don't trust that they're going to spend it wisely because they don't need to, and I don't trust they're going to spend it in my best interest because they don't need to. That's what I'm really worried about.
But also taxes go to doing hospitals, roads,
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
yeah, they go to paying pensions apparently as well.
Yeah,
but I know they don't do that well.
True, but these are things that it does go to.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that if I had, let's say, this is the best example I can put to you, right? If you had your parents who needed a pension to survive off, would you just trust that the government is going to make sure they're taken care of? Or would it not be better for your parents if you just took care of them? Whatever money they took from you that's meant to go towards pensions, if you just had that money and you could give it to how many pockets does that line all the way down before it gets to your parents?
Yeah, but
how many career bureaucrats does it pay for before it ever touches your parents' pocket?
But
I'd say a lot.
But you're saying that it's only that the government can be corruptible, but the person themselves that you're saying, if you were to do that, you're corruptible too.
Yes. But
I'd say it's more likely that if everyone had that power, they are more likely to be more corrupt than it is to have an overarching entity that has to be held accountable in the public eye.
But they're not in the public eye.
They kind of are.
You only know the politician that you vote for. You have no idea who the bureaucrat is who actually decides where your budgets go.
True. So what you're saying is that there's not enough clarity in what's being done.
I'm saying there's career bureaucrats who are just completely inept and spend money willy-nilly because it's not their money. There's no... The incentives aren't aligned properly. Right? They don't lose their job for failure. Most of the time, they renew their budget for the next year. Success actually gets punished for them. As soon as they fix a problem, their department gets shut down. So you've got like the completely backward incentive structure, and yet they take more and more and more, and it's never enough. They never have enough money. And you saw it just happen right now. We're paying out this insurance thing. We're paying it out. That shouldn't even be an option. It shouldn't be an option that I have to now dip into the money that I make to go help someone else get a house while I still get my own. Why is it like that? That's so broken. I have no idea who these people are that money is now.
I think I agree with you, but I think that this is an idea and a concept that you've been thinking about for a while, but I don't feel like you're fleshing it out well enough.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's close, but here
it's hold on. Let me just read chat here. So COVID was the biggest scam. They're currently having a guaranteed income. Yeah, but but by paying it at the end, it should still be guaranteed if you have to pay it.
Yeah.
So I don't see how that would change unless you're saying that because they don't have the money at the time, they have to be stricter and tighter with the money that they spend.
That's actually
That
there's
I
an
can
element, there's some
understand
accountability
there,
to
if
that.
that's what you're implying, Tim.
And Ladder said that every government in the world is corrupt and we're far from democracy. Agree. And libertarians are looking good. Yeah, look, I'd agree on that as well. I'm much more towards that side. But my concept is, and what I want, you're right, I need to explore this better, is that I'm trying to come at it from a psychological point of view, which is that the more removed someone is from you, the more skepticism you should have towards them
Right.
and their claims that they're acting in your best interest. That should be the standard, right? And then the closer knit tie that you have with people, like Ben Shapiro has the best quote. He says that you should be, a socialist with your family, a communism with your close friends, and a libertarian with your neighbor. Like the further away someone is from you, the less you should be trusting them to act on your best interest. And the government is like that concept on its head. It's completely backward. It's people that we have no idea who they are, taking more of our money than any friend that we have. No one else that you know is getting 30% of your income. No one. Not your partner, not your family, not your kids, for God's sakes. Let alone 40, 50% of your income. You're giving more than half your money at times to people who have no idea who they are, who have no real accountability to you, who have no incentive to really do anything for you. It is madness, and we all just accept it as if it's like this standard thing. Oh, that's just how life works. It never worked like this before. We used to go to war for way less than this.
True, we did.
Taxation is theft, brother.
It
is theft. It is.
Wait,
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna make
Have a
some
bun.
stickers. Get him a bumper sticker.
Right up here.
Taxation is theft.
Taxation is theft.
Hang on a second. All right, so you're talking all this shit. All right, give me a solution. I'm not. I know it's a crazy question to ask. Give me your Darko's 1 minute solution,
Well,
please.
I think what we need to do, and what would be really good to see what happens if Trump wins in America and brings Elon Musk as the government efficiency director. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the waste that he uncovers. I cannot wait for Elon Musk to say that this department is spending 95% more money than it needs to. I cannot wait to someone rip this goddamn band-aid off and show us what we all know is happening, which is wastefulness, left, right, and center. Career bureaucrats, no accountability. They've got no targets. They've got nothing they're meant to hit. I know it, man. You know it. I know it. There's no way that the amount of money they take is justifiable. There's no way they're only taking enough. There's no way they're only spending what they need to spend. Anyone who believes that we're not being rorted left, right, and center is so naive, man. You're telling me that $10 billion to build like some submarines was a fair price? You're telling me that not every single contractor and consultant didn't like rub their pockets full of like countless taxpayer dollars? You know it in your heart, man. You know we're being screwed here. Everyone knows. I'm not saying stop it entirely. I'm saying stop wasting it. There's no way that this current system, because we didn't used to operate like this. It didn't used to be 40% of your money was needed to keep the lights on and the streets intact. That wasn't the way it was before. That's only been the last 80 odd years. We existed for a long time before that, man. I don't think this is the best way to be. I think we're being robbed. Like they're stealing from your front pocket and not your back one, so you don't notice.
Fuck, that was scathing reports
Scathing.
from. So your opinion is that you need to peel the covers off to be able to have a more in-depth look into where the money's going, how it's
100%.
being spent, and is there wastefulness going on. You
But
think
when
that'll
we
fix
have-
the issue?
When we have the head of the ombudsman, the director of the ombudsman, the one organization that is meant to be looking out for the worker, stealing $200,000 in just one calendar year, bro. The director of the department that's meant to protect the worker against corrupt businesses, that's what the ombudsman's there for, stole $200,000 in 1 year. Think about that.
It's a lot.
That's a fucking lot,
It's a
man.
lot. And I think
in just
that
1 year.
the part is that he is supposed to be the person that you rely upon to stop shit like this happening.
Yes,
That's where it's like a fatal blow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But because of this happening, you would assume now that there's going to be things put in place to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
You would hope.
You'd hope, but I wouldn't trust they would, because I think a lot of them are doing that.
So
Tim's saying, what if you choose not to pay
at the end?
You
See,
go to
but
jail.
then
You
you
go
go
to
to
jail.
prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, lad says that's a very deep rabbit hole that can go into so many
So,
directions.
Timmy was saying that to Lad.
Oh right. Pay tax, allow government to extort you. Inflation is theft. Taxation is extortion.
Yeah.
You know what else is theft? Superannuation. Well, hang on a second. Now, I don't know about that. Full Millet. I don't know what the fuck
For
is
Millet
that.
is the president of Argentina. He came in. They had like 34 fiscal quarters of deficit, gone back decades. He
Hmm.
came in with a complete
Oh
concept of
yeah, I did hear
tear off,
about this.
cut all this down, and he's finally got inflation on food down. He's actually fixing their economy with exactly what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, it's necessary.
Oh, how about this? Do you think we need to be paying $100,000+ a year to have a minister for men's change, minister for men's behavioral change, which is what the federal government introduced? There's a whole department that's collecting a full-time salary in our federal government right now, run mostly by women, by the director's a woman of this department, about how we can change the attitude of young men. That is what my tax dollars are paying
I'd have
for.
to look into the
as a
concept.
pure concept,
Yeah.
to be.
I'd have to see what they're.
No.
I'm not gonna make a judgment on something I haven't seen. You
Yeah.
know me, I'm pretty objective. I'll
Yeah.
look at some
You're
shit.
level out on
I'll
this.
make a decision, but
No, but
I haven't seen anything on it, so I won't comment too much.
My eyes were open during COVID. That's
Yeah,
the main thing. I saw
100%.
just how much money they spent and what they spent on those apps, for God's sake.
Dude,
man.
the apps, not to
Apps
mention that
alone.
fucking center that they built.
Yeah.
That like the
quarantine center that's just now like being
empty. I don't know
demolished.
what the fuck they're using that for. At Mike Benzie Cyber. I don't know if you're tagging someone there, bro, but shout outs to that.
Easy.
If there's an NGO or a bureaucracy in place, someone is skimming
Guaranteed.
cash. Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Here's the thing
Guaranteed.
though about super. I actually like super because I know it's taking your money now, but in the last I think the last 6 months, I've made like 12K on my super. Like,
Bro,
like
what people are
compounding.
saying-
So it's once it gets above
Yeah.
a certain amount, the returns are actually fucking
How about
legit.
this? The reason why people are complaining about super is because you think you have that money on there, but that money's not really there, right? What's happening is while your super's in there, there's rich people who are gambling around with your money. They're making more money on
They
your
are,
money,
yeah.
and they give you a small little cut, and that's why your super goes up by a bit. You'd be better off having that money yourself and investing it yourself and getting the full cut. 100%. That's another one where it's just
Hang
like
on a
it's
second.
communist.
You say this.
investing.
You say this though.
Not for
but
everyone, of course.
No, people don't know how to fucking invest.
Yeah.
Me and you invest. But
Yeah.
we don't 100%. We're not the greatest investors. We invest and we're decent, but we're not great. Think about this, right? Think about how poor people are. I mean, I don't mean poor people. I'm saying how poor people are. Let me rephrase this because it sounds like I'm saying poor people. Think about how bad people are at using their money.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. Think about how wasteful just the everyday
Mm.
human is with money, the way they invest. They're putting money into random fucking crypto scams, blah, blah, blah. And you're telling me that, okay, at the end of these people's life, they've got nothing to fall back on. They've got no super. And you're complaining now that we have to bail people out for niche living. Think about when all the next generation of old people start coming through. They fucked around with their money. They made poor investment choices. They didn't get any returns back. What the fuck do you think is going to happen to tax then?
How much of the overall super funds do you reckon get pilfered? How many people the concept of it I agree with, but I do not trust anyone, unelected bureaucrat, to be running super. I don't trust.
But
the
you can go to a
process.
private company.
You go to a private company as well.
I go through a
It-
private
it's-
company and I can
it's-
see everything. I
Yeah.
can choose where I invest, the percentage of it, my returns, the risk ratio,
Louis, what you
all
can
that sort of
see,
shit.
what you can see is a number on a page.
Yes.
So what happened to a lot of people in the States, and South Park made great fun of this, you thought you had money in a bank because you saw a dollar amount on the page.
Mm.
That dollar just turned to a zero. The bank doesn't have it. What was the bank doing with the money? What was the great bailout? What was it that happened there? They were gambling with people's savings. They were investing it to try and make more money, give you a tiny little cut of it, but they were making themselves rich. As soon as they made a bad investment, their money was no longer there. You hold the bag at the end. That's it. So you're super and you think it's there. You think it's just mystically building and they're putting it in a vault and they're not touching it. They're not, man. They're gambling like crazy with that thing.
No, I know
And
that.
if they win, you win a little bit. If they lose, only you lose. Those CEOs have got their pay. You're not getting your money back from them. You saw having niche living. They didn't touch the guy's money.
No, yeah, but
That's what I'm saying is it's a problem with it.
What you're saying though is not very likely to happen.
It's happened twice.
Yeah, but
It's happened twice in our lifetime.
in terms of like going from your money to nothing, the chances of that happening, I don't think are that high.
Yeah, but they are gambling with it.
100%. But
Yeah.
you're gambling with it too.
Yeah, but let me control my gamble.
But these you can.
If I lose, I lose everything. If I win, I win everything. Right now, if they win,
Well, you can
they
do it.
win
Hang on a
most,
second, but you can do
we're
a
little.
fully self-managed super fund.
Most people should.
You can.
Yeah,
You can, but why don't they?
most people can't be bothered because it's
No,
it's built in.
no, that's not true.
Why I don't do it because I can't be bothered.
You
But I
can't be
should.
bothered. You can't be bothered. What, investing for the money that you're going to make a return on, or
Yeah.
is it because you think that you can't do it as well as people that have tools that are made for it?
Perhaps I think
They have years of insights.
So you think
look at
tools are
Vanguard.
made for?
Vanguard has 100 year of
Yeah.
data that they can look at trends, they can see returns, they know what's going to happen, right? So yes, they're taking your money, they're gambling like fuck, they're reaping a huge reward,
Yeah.
but you have the safety of knowing that these people are fairly good. They've got a
Do
lot
you
of.
trust them?
You have to trust them. You have to trust them.
I
enough.
don't.
I'm not saying that. Do I trust this person's not going to fucking make some crazy gambles? Absolutely, they're going to make that. But you have the choice there to completely do it yourself. What I'm saying is that if you do it yourself, say people do it themselves, I reckon they're going to be 80% worse off at the end of their career at retirement than if you go through one of these companies. 100% guaranteed. You'll get to the end, you'll be fucked. Just read the chat here quickly.
Superannuation with fees and charges, lack of transparency with the provider, lack of access to your funds, investment risk with your money, and government regulations will completely ruin you when you retire. True. Why can't you just super buy a house? People have a lot of cost of living crises right now. Here's the thing as well. You're saying that it will help the retirement, help the golden years. That's what we're covering for. If you gave people 10% more of their money now, you could buy investment property, which could be the thing that you retire on.
You're talking as if every person is going to do this.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
That's fair. But
you know what people are like, man.
People like. You're
right.
You know,
you give people 10% more, they're going to fucking waste 10%
blow 10% more. I think you're right, but
I
just don't. I don't trust it. Lab Bible is saying scroll up a bit.
Scroll up where to?
Keep going.
We've already read everything.
Yeah, we've already
read everything. Unless we're missing something.
Yeah, with Super you get leftovers after everyone else has scavenged it. That's the thing I'm talking about as well. It's because
most of the
non-profit funds, they donate to Labour Party
donations, campaign funding. Same for big build contracts involving unions. Yeah. What are you wanting me to scroll up to, lad? Now the thing is here is that I don't disagree with what you're saying, and you have the ability to self-manage your super fund. What I'm saying is that the unfortunate reality is that people need to be protected from themselves. So when they get to the end of I know people that right now don't pay super, haven't done, they're tradies and stuff like that. Bro, they're fucked when they get to that age. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to become homeless. People are going to have to, what the fuck's going to happen? It's going to spiral into a worse situation.
Yeah. I agree with that to some extent. I think you are right that, people can't be trusted to do things, but it's a dicey area to say that the government should step in and regulate what happens to your money because you can't be trusted with it. That's just a dangerous concept. It's a dangerous concept because right now you're saying that they're doing it for good reasons.
Are you saying that the government is controlling your super though?
Superannuation is a legislative thing.
It's legislated.
That's what I mean by it, right?
No, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So I don't know. I would say that the freaking libertarian in me says, again, pull away from that. People should decide what happens to their own money. Because I don't trust. As soon as you have these shadowy figures, all you can see, and you think you're in full control of it, you can see that number pop up onto that screen, but you have no real idea where that money's gone, where it's moved to, who skims off it, how much they skim. You don't know. And you just got to trust these like shadowy corporations that they're doing the right thing by you and that the money will be there when you retire.
I know that.
You know most banks don't even hold the money that you think you have in there? If you went to most banks and tried to withdraw your savings, they don't have it.
Yeah.
With the fiat currency that we have and how dodgy that is, you have no idea.
Yeah, you literally
But if you got that money now, you could at least tangibly spend it on things that are real, things that you know will be there when you retire. You don't know that money will be there when you retire.
But what I'm saying though is you can self-manage a super fund.
They could inflate the dollar so much that the money you have in there in 30 years' time is worth half what it would have been.
But you can. What about that? You can self-manage your super fund.
I agree.
So perhaps the way to fix this is to teach the younger generation through school how to run a super fund.
Make it be an opt-in, opt-out. then it's people's own fault. If you don't opt into it and you go to freaking retire, you have nothing. That's on you. On you. No one else bails you out.
Nah,
For that.
because no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And g'day, Elemental. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, you guys always tune in later
Just
on
as we're about to
when we're
wrap
finishing.
up.
Is there a reason why you guys tune in at the time you tune in? Because we can try and adjust the time so that more people can actually tune in. It just make it, because we try and do it early to get it out of the way, but it seems like everyone starts coming in like 11 o'clock onwards. So just let us know.
We can plan the day around.
Yeah, we can figure it out. FTG.
We can't be trusted with it, but the companies risking your money can be. That is the bit that's dead on.
Pros
Timmy.
of enforced savings.
Yeah.
No.
That's also both good. Tim's
you're
also
right.
made a great point. It's enforced savings, and most people don't have savings.
Yeah.
I think the retirement plan for most Aussies is like win the lotto. It's a real problem.
Yeah,
Like, we don't have much.
It's ridiculous. But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that all people can't be trusted with money. I'm just saying for the intent of what the superannuation is, I don't think that 95% of people have the ability to do what is necessary to ensure that your super is actually going to work.
I think we can find some common ground here, because I also agree with the concept of why they've done it. I agree with the idea behind superannuation. I think it's forced retirement plan, force people to put rainy day savings, because most people don't do that. I agree with that. What I don't trust, and what a lot of people in the chat are saying here as well, is I just don't trust the institution that forms up around it. I don't trust the business of superannuation management that forms up around it. I don't trust the for-profit, very, very for-profit business that pops up around it.
Yeah, you're fucking...
That's what I don't
trust. The part that you don't trust is that they're fucking slinging your money. Yeah. Like, fucking...
Exactly.
Got Porsche, fucking...
Right? So
whatever.
I trust that the best of human intentions went into the design, but I also know that the worst of human depravity goes into the execution. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you. The intentions behind the design of it can be pure and altruistic. The execution will always be corrupt because humans are corrupt. And the more space you give humans to be corrupt, the more corrupt they will be. History shows us that in every country. Communism had great ideals, dog shit execution. Socialism, great ideals, terrible execution. It pops up everywhere.
But I think that super does work. I think it does work.
I hope it does. I hope the money they say is there when I need to access it. But we'll see. Maybe when we retire, you'll look at me and go, this fucking dog's got me.
Maybe.
Like, what can you do, bro?
See, it's interesting because there's one more thing I want to talk about with super. It will come a time when everyone relies on the gov. Cons, high fees, poor return, lack of flexibility, can't use it where you need it. You can
avoid paying it, you go to jail if you do something else with it.
Old man habits.
Fuck the gov. I'll agree with that.
Fuck the gov FTG. Dude, we should get an FTG up there.
FTG, put the dual cam so you can see what it will look like for people. Right above the sign.
Over here.
Boom.
Just an FTG.
Now, I think taxation is theft is for me is the one I'm really fucking...
It's shares.
Yeah, they gamble with your money. It's shares, not
cash.
cash.
Here's the thing. There's the other thing as well. What are your thoughts on salary sacrificed and matched contributions? Because where I work, if I salary sacrifice a little bit more for my super, or maybe not this place, but where I used to, they would, like, if I did an extra $50 or whatever, they'll match it. So that there, you're like, you're getting free money out of that technically to some extent, right?
What I don't like about a lot of this is that the money that you have saved in there, right? They're constantly devaluing the dollar. Always. You're better off really buying tangible things that won't devalue as much as we are seeing the dollar devalue.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you pay like literally $8 for a coffee now, or fucking $5 for a loaf of bread, like, and the fact that 40 years ago it was $1 or 50 cents.
Yeah.
You really got to think about that for a second. That if 40 years ago the government took 10% of your money and saved it for you to retire on, yet things got 4 times as expensive, the money they put away means dog shit. It means shit. It means so little. You're way better off having that money when you were earning it, when it was worth what it was worth, than you are getting it in 40 years' time when they've inflated it by a factor of 4. And that's the problem. That's right. If you were working from the 70s under the superannuation system and you put aside 100,000 Australian dollars, in 1970 you go, 100,000 Australian dollars? I can buy 4 properties and retire for life. I'm going to be set. Yeah, take 10% of my money. Great. When I retire in 2020, I'll have 100 grand. Brilliant. 2020 comes along. What the fuck does that 100 grand do for you now?
Yeah, but you're assuming that these people would save the money.
No, but what I'm saying is, let's say the exact same system we have now was in place in 1970. You were 30 years old in 1970 working. Back then, you could buy a house for about $20,000.
Yeah, so
What I'm saying is, if they were taking 10% of your salary back then, over 40 years, if they, let's say you got $100,000 at the end of it, because your salary wasn't that high either. Salaries were only about 15 grand in 1970s. What I'm saying for you is, if inflation holds its rates, the money they're taking from you now will be worth less than whatever interest you think it's building. We can see that. Because right now,
but your money will come. You as you get
Mm.
more, as you make more contributions. I think it's after the 200K range. The amount of contributions that you're making get outdone by the returns that you're getting back.
Yeah.
So there's a certain point it starts
Yeah.
really
Dude,
spiraling.
the
and you make
number
some serious money.
the number that's in there starts going up.
Yeah.
But what that number can buy is less and less and less as it inflates.
Yeah, but
So
people
right now,
say, hang on,
end of
people say
hospice
that
care-
if you invest into the stock market, that's a better return than just keeping it in your bank.
Yeah.
But that's the exact same thing as what super is doing. So technically, doesn't that make more sense?
What my problem is with this is that what you can buy with that money will be less in 40 years' time than it is now.
But your money is also compounding at the same time.
I don't think it's scaling as fast as inflation is. And the reason I say that is your pay hasn't increased by the same scale as property prices. Everyone knows that. Property prices have gone up by a factor of 40. Your pay's only gone up by 1.5 in the same time period. So what I'm saying is in some ways you might be better off having the money now to spend before it's been inflated and worthless than you are to get in 40 years time.
I do know that, but we need to break down the numbers. You know what? You should
I can break down
the numbers. Yeah, if you guys want us to break down the numbers, we'll get Darko to do it. We've fucking gone well over time here.
Yeah, we need to go.
But if you guys like our content, man, please fucking like, subscribe, follow, whatever the fuck it is.
Just joining Elemental as well. It's
I
good to see you
appreciate
again,
it.
man.
Yeah, Elemental, it's been a long time, brother. Shout out to everyone that tuned in today, man. I'll give you guys an air horn for that. Yeah, really appreciate it's nice to have you guys here conversing back with us and stuff and getting involved in the conversation.
We're trying to take down the government. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find a way.
Look, we're trying to we're just
I am Louis.
I'm not trying to take down the government. I'm just a guy asking questions, brother. I'm just a guy asking questions.
Yeah. Senator Rennick is really good as well. I really like him. But yeah, just join us, guys. I need a bounce.
Yeah, I think Darko's got to get out of here.
Easy.
Also, no one ever got back to us. Do you guys want us to do a later potty? Because you guys seem to tune in way later on. So
let's do it. Maybe it is just most people get that time around midday. Maybe we do start doing them around 11.
Maybe we could do it 11 o'clock-ish or something.
I'll do some of my stuff I normally do in the morning, so it's fine.
Yeah, can we do 1 p.m.? Haha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
probably it is gonna be summer out here, so we'll be
get
getting
fucking
boiled.
hot.
Unless we get some better fans.
We're gonna have to get something in here. I'm gonna have to sort something out.
Yeah,
but
easy.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Follow us on. We got Insta, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I'm going to start putting some clips up of this stuff as well. If you get a chance, please share it around or some shit. I know it's
easy. Yeah, Tim's saying if we give him a heads up on X earlier, we can do that. I can start doing those posts with the time.
Oh yeah, that's sweet, man. We can give you we can do I don't know, we'll tee a post up or something like that.
Choose Elemental, by the way. This took a long time for us to put this together. We're working on this for a while, man.
This took so long. I had to fucking repaint everything. Yeah. We completely moved the room, set up the cameras differently. We've got lights fucking everywhere.
It feels great. It feels like we're actually more talking to you guys as you guys tune in.
It does. It felt a little bit clinical before, and there was
surgical almost.
Yeah, surgical. There was devoid of any sort of color.
Yeah.
But now it feels like a real podcast. You just need a big FTG here. That's
FTG in the middle there, I think. Yeah. Taxation is theft. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That is hilarious, though. That's actually
I love it.
Bro, but no.
It's all right. See you guys.
Yeah, we'll call it there. No, that was such a random way. You were like, see you guys.
I need to go, bro. People are freaking.
I know, fuck's sake. All right.
On me.
I'll catch you, everyone. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you around.